wanted this one, traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight, with a pack in hand and a story that bites. Old paper, new spark, name on the card, from basement deals to a full-on start. Collected and connected, collected and connected, trading the truth.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jonathan Fink, and this is the Sports Card Collectors Club, and it's the Card Life Chronicles. And today, it's going to be just like yesterday. We're going to rip some more 2026 Topps Chrome basketball update. So it's live tonight. We're going to do a fun rip session with the chat, and we'll go as long as we can. So let me give a few minutes for everyone to kind of join in, and then we'll get started. So let me get these boxes stacked up, and I'll explain how I got these boxes, and once everyone's, a few people have joined in, we'll get started. All right, back soon. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes, guys. Thanks for joining tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Be back soon. Thanks. All right, thanks everyone for waiting and joining. We got 15 people in the chat. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So we did this last night, and it was a lot of fun. Had some good hits, nothing crazy, but no one did anyone else, neither did anyone else. If you follow the tracker of the patch autos, rookie patch autos, first time ever that Top's doing this for basketball, you will notice that hold on, okay, my dog is in here, and I thought he was about to go potty, and I'm like, dude, we just went outside. What are you doing? So that was one of the things I was doing when I was killing some time, letting people join the chat. But my dog Buddy is here with us tonight for the chat. Hopefully he'll bring us some good luck. Hopefully he'll hop in his bed and relax like I got set up for him. So we'll see. But anyway, so we did a bunch of rips last night. We ripped for 2 hours, and look, I have a day job. I'm a financial advisor. My hobby is being an author, which has become a real job for me. But I work from home, so I have the ability to get in the car any time of day, early in the morning, mid afternoon, and just go to a Target or go to a Best Buy or the local car shop, and it's been really great for buying product, frankly, because I can just get everything for pretty much MSRP. And in Leawood, Kansas, where I live, we actually have a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sports, and they have a new card section, which is really incredible. And even though they are marking to market their prices for like the hobby boxes. They are selling, for example, for Topps Chrome Basketball Update, they're selling the blasters and the megas for MSRP. Now, yesterday they had a two limit, two of each per day. Every store had something different going on. Artist Sports in Leawood, Kansas, were allowed to buy two of each, but you couldn't use trade-in store credit for some reason. The blasters were 45 MSRP, but their megas were, ready for this, 175. They were retailing for 85, going on eBay for 120. So then in Overland Park, Kansas, the baseball card store, my favorite shop. Shout out to Jordan Neal and Scott and Jake and the whole crew over there. Jordan was on my show, episode 3, when I did my flagship podcast. So he means a lot to me, and he gets mentioned a couple times in my book series as well. Well, anyway, they were selling their hobbies for expensive. They were selling their megas for 120. They were selling their blasters for MSRP. But their policy was you could buy as many as you want, but only the first one comes sealed. Everything else after that, they'll slice. And so I had already been around town yesterday, and I bought stuff from other places. So I just bought 2 blasters from them, one sealed and one not. Then up in Olathe at the unopened Pac-Man store, they were selling their blasters for 45, which is MSRP, but only one at a time, also unsealed. And they were charging 150 for the megas. Now, what's interesting is, so I bought a bunch. I went around town, I bought everything I could, and then ripped basically almost all that last night. But I love ripping cards. I love being an author. I love journaling and writing about my experiences. And I'm writing right now the Card Life Volume 3. So everything that I do will be part of somehow, with some shape or form, a chapter in that book or some component of that book. But as far as spending money on chasing new products, I've done a lot of it in the last couple of years, but I am slowing that down. I'm going to phase off and get more into junk wax, get more of the cheap stuff, and I'll rip all that stuff on this channel. However, this particular product is particularly unique because the first time ever with these patch autos, there's literally like 50 cards that could go for over $100,000, a couple that can go for $1 million. So how do you not chase it? My wife actually teased me because when the last Topps Chrome product came out, I did a video called about FOMO, saying you don't have to go buy every new product. And I was telling my wife I'm not going to buy this product, and because the truth is, when you rip, most of the time you could get nothing, And she was like, "Oh yeah," so she saw on the news the Otani double patch auto. And she's like, "Oh, so this is the one product you're going to skip, the one where there's this $1 million card?" I'm like, "All right, fine." So I actually wound up buying a few boxes, and I'm going to write a chapter about it for the Card Life. So I did wind up buying 4 blasters of that. But anyway, with basketball, I was definitely going to go buy this stuff, and I knew I was going to go big. And it's not because I want to chase cards. It's because I've been writing the book, The Basketball Gods Are Real. I've been working on my basketball jersey collection. I had written a first draft of that book during the pandemic when I wrote a bunch of my God Is Real series material. And it's been many, many years. I've been accumulating lots of articles that have come along the way. Like, for example, the Danhausen curse, the WWE wrestler who helped the New York Knicks when he uncursed them and they went on to win the championship, won 14 games in a row, and then he cursed the Cleveland Cavaliers along the way. So I wasn't sure if I should work that in as a book, a new introduction, or if that should just be a component of an existing chapter. So I've spent the last few weeks, after I finished the Pokemon Gods Is Real edit, and that book will now come out on September 16th. It's already now sent to the book layout designer, which is awesome. I'm very excited to get that out in time for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. And then yeah, so when I'm writing a book, you got to get the energy flowing. So I like to wear the jerseys, and I definitely want to be ripping those kind of cards. So when I was writing the Hockey Gods, I was wearing a lot of hockey jerseys late at night when I was doing my editing and writing, and I was definitely ripping a lot of 90s junk wax hockey just to get the good vibe. Oh, hold on, we got our first shout out from the chat. It is my boy Paulie. He says he struck out on the Topps queue now. He's got to search Targets and Walmarts. You know what, dude? It's all about where you live, because if just for example in Kansas, if you live in a small town, even a big city like Lawrence, Kansas, which is a big college town, that's where KU is, they have one Target, no Walmarts. And a local Target might get maybe a half dozen blasters, a half dozen, megas. And the truth is the high boxes are so overvalued, it's not even worth it. It's Sporting Goods. The MSRP is $500. They're charging $1,000. So it's like, come on. So the way to go is actually with the blasters, because you get a lot of upside in that stuff. But it is hard to get. But here in Kansas City, where I live, we have 2 Walmarts, we have 3 Targets, we got a Best Buy, we have 3 local card shops, Now, I checked today. Our Targets and our Walmarts either have not gotten any yesterday and today, or they sold out quickly because I couldn't find any at either one of those stores. But today, what happened is I did go back to the baseball card store in Overland Park, Kansas, and I picked up 4 more. And then I went back to Dick's Sporting Goods. I figured, you know what, I'll do my typical 2 and 2. I'll go buy the 2 blasters and the 2 megas. And the guy next to me in line, or ahead of me in line rather, he was like, he had like 10 of them. I'm like, is the 2 like what's going on with isn't there a 2 limit? He goes, oh no, that was yesterday. They got rid of it. And the truth is, apparently they sold so much. They had so much inventory there at this House of Sports in Leawood at Dick's Sporting Goods. They sold a ton of it yesterday, even though everyone was held to this 2 limit. And by today, they shut down all this extra, shelving. This portable shelving system they had with all the blasters and stuff because they sold through it. And then they were consolidating it on the regular shelving. And the guy was like, "Yeah, you could buy 2 megas up to 10 now blasters because we're basically almost done with it." And I was like, that makes no sense, actually. They're running low, so now they're letting you buy as much as you want, or yesterday, whatever. I was like, fine. So I was going to go and buy 2 and 2, but I wound up buying 10 blasters. So look, you know what these cost, $45 a piece, plus tax of $50. So this is a lot of money, but it's a business expense. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to write a chapter about it, and maybe we'll hit something awesome. You never know. And if we do, that'll be totally epic, and it will fund all my future projects for forevermore. But for me, it was not even about the chase. It wasn't about a patch auto or a big autograph. It's just more about immersing myself in the sport of basketball. It's like once I get into a project, I have to just be all consuming. And when you do that, you kind of get into this flow, and you'd be amazed how ideas kind of come to you, and you'll find a mistake or a change you want to make in a chapter. So Forced Com 3236 writes 2025 Topps Chrome. Not sure what you mean by that, but I will mention if you look at the prices of the Topps Chrome basketball from early this year, that was a huge success. Wemby cards and stuff are selling for $100,000 plus, and even right now a blaster box, which they're now calling a value box out of nowhere, they're still retailing at the shops for $70. And the mega boxes are going for over 100. So the basketball cards have held their value because there's just that much demand. So Garrison Lyons, what's up, dude? He writes, I got a pack of Topps baseball cards back in March. That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, whatever you're ripping, have fun with it. It's entertainment. It's the best hobby ever, and I love it. For years and years and years, for the last 5 years when I got back into the hobby, I was ripping cards all the time by myself. A lot of those packs I did write about in a journal form kind of thing, in a memoir form, in my first book, in my first and second book about sports cards. But it was Jordan. Sorry, excuse me. It was Jordan Neal from the baseball card store who was like, dude, I'd always bring in this shoebox of cards, the leftovers, and I'd trade them in and buy more stuff. He's like, why don't you create a YouTube channel and rip packs online? And I'm like, maybe one day I will. But I was an author. I was really focused on writing books, and I've been spending a decade just writing, not thinking about marketing or selling and that sort of thing. I've just been focused on the creativity aspect. And then sure enough, my first book gets released, and I then connect with Brandon Verzel, who's the producer of the Carlisle television show, and he invited me for an interview. So I drove down to Chanute, Kansas for the interview. And lo and behold, Matt Strom was there, who's the host. Sorry, he just, I love my black cherry soda, but I'm choking on it right now. So I'll drink some more. And I go down to Chanute, Kansas, and that's where Neosho Community College is. Coach Steve Murray's been there for 40 years. He's starting his 41st year this year. We're now friends because of this, but Matt had just dedicated a new gym, a whole workout facility. There's actually 2 giant baseball cards of Matt on the walls. And that's where they recorded his rip session for his segment, and they recorded mine after. So I got to watch Matt and Coach Murray do this whole rip session behind the camera, and that's when I was thinking about Jordan Neal. He was like, you got to rip packs online, And after watching Matt do it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And right when I got back from that trip, that's when I started my whole pack opening series, and I started it on the Sports Card Collectors Club channel, and then I took it to the next level when I did the Dempsey's pack openings with Dempsey's rip sessions, which I did for that channel. He's the main character, my alter ego for the Republic Baseball League book series. You can go check that one out. And then I even launched a V Friends pack opening series. And if you add them all up together, I gotten over 1,000. And that's when I realized, you know what? Let me roll this up into a formal show. I'd already been doing podcasts with Paulie for my flagship, podcast, and I already have the technology, already have the intro. I have the ability to capture, clips of the big hits with AI. So I figured, you know what? Let's turn it into a formal show. So that's enough of an intro. We now have 34 people in this chat, so that's an awesome crowd. So we'll definitely we'll get into it. I'll get my phone set up as a second camera, and we'll have some fun. Real quick, shout out to the chat. Let's see. Catherine writes tops for life. Yeah, absolutely. Kenny 7432 writes, so can't remember exactly what. John Barnes writes tops, just plain old tops. Cart Pigs writes, last pack I ripped was Tim Hortons NHL pack. Woo. Well, speaking of NHL, so I did write a book called The Hockey Gods Are Real, and I ripped a ton of hockey for that book to kind of get in the vibes. But I do have a bunch of stuff still to rip for my Card Life Chronicles for my book, Volume 3. So I'll be throwing on a hockey jersey soon, and we'll definitely get into those cards. But for today, we'll do the basketball stuff because it just came out. It's hot as can be. A lot of the big cards have not been pulled yet. So when the Shohei Ohtani double auto double patch got pulled, it was in Palm Beach, Florida. Just some guy at a local card shop. So who knows? Maybe some guy at a local big sporting good Leland, Kansas is going to pull a banger tonight. We'll see. All right, cool. So, let me get my camera set up, and then we'll do this. Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I really am appreciative. I'm grateful. I watch other people rip cards all the time. It's a lot of fun. My wife doesn't understand how it can be entertaining. But the truth is, after on your typical show, during your day, you might watch your late night shows, you might watch your local sports team, but at 10:30, the World's Game's over, and then it's mostly crap. There's not really much on TV. You rather watch things that are interesting to you. So that's where YouTube is such an insane, amazing technology. And now with Buzzer and Twitch and Twitter, these all became television networks, and so now everything has become decentralized, and everyone's now empowered to become their own TV host. And so I was late to the party, but I'm glad to be doing it now. All right, so we got 10 blasters. We'll see how many we can get through before I get too tired. I did a rip session that started at midnight a week ago, and I did V Friends, and we went 3 hours. And just like tonight, it started with 4 or 5 people, and then it went to 15, and then it went to 30, and then it got to 100. And by 2 in the morning, there was 864 people watching, and I just could not believe it. And I wasn't sure if it's because they really enjoy hanging out with me, or they just love V Friends, because V Friends is still a really obscure new product, although it's definitely getting more popular. And I love V Friends so much, and I'm trying my best to help it become more popular, because I think it's one of those products that literally makes the world a better place. So if you know about V Friends, shout out to you. Actually, you know what? Speaking of V Friends, how about this? Before we rip our first blaster, I have this random V Friends pack that somehow didn't get ripped during that master rep session. Oh no, it's empty. Haha. Sorry, false alarm. I do have some other V Friends, but I know we're here for basketball tonight. So let's go try to pull a rookie patch auto. I have had some insane sports card god magic over the years. I have pulled 3 different one-of-ones in my life. And I've pulled my share of a lot of autos out of retail. So I've actually really been blessed. In fact, when I wrote the Flip Life volume 2 and volume 1, I ripped those packs and I documented it, but I didn't get to put it all on video, which was a mistake. I wish I had done that. I'm documenting it all now on this show for sure. But yeah, I have some insane hits. I documented it. I have pictures of all the cards in the back. But some of my luck was just so serendipitous. It was like the sports card gods were definitely helping make my book be entertaining and compelling, which was really cool. So I'm grateful to the sports card gods, however you understand them. All right. So by the way, that's my dog Buddy. See him chilling? He's a Shih Tzu Poodle mix, 11 years old. He's a schmoopy doopy. He's an awesome dog. All right. Cheers to the sports card gods. May they be with us. And yeah, not an endorsement, but I do love black cherry, non-caffeinated soda. Oh, by the way, let me promote something. Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, we have my second episode of Rip Sessions. Rip Sessions is a podcast where it's sort of like going to your local card shop and hanging out at a table on like Topps Rip Night and ripping packs with your friends. So I will send out an advertisement for it. If you're interested, just send me a DM. I'll shoot you the link, and I think we can get up to 10 people into a giant chat room, kind of like a Zoom conference call, and we'll all rip packs together. And it could be physical packs like Topps Chrome, or it could even be digital packs like NBA Top Shot. All you gotta do is add a second screen, and you can rip packs like that. So yeah, so pretty cool. Did the dog ever eat a card of yours? Good question, Paulie. No, but he has come in here in the middle of the stream and been like, "I gotta go potty, end your stream, otherwise I'm gonna pee on your carpet." And I'm trying to see where he just went right now. He just moved. Oh, he's actually at the foot of my. He's. I just took him out before this stream, and now he's just kind of like sitting at the foot of my. Let's see here. I'll show you. Oh yeah, he's chill. Yeah, he loves sports cards. He doesn't like to eat them. He loves my hobby. He likes to hang out with me when I do this. I'm downstairs. A lot of times I used to he'll be upstairs, and I'm sure he wonders where I go when I'm really here. So now I think it's good vibes to bring him down when I do my streams. So we can just hang out and he can take his naps and whatever. So only 4 cards per pack. I'm trying to remember if you guys know the history of Topps with all the Chrome products. It definitely used to be at least 5 cards, maybe 6. Maybe even 7. You've noticed in the industry shrinkflation economics where they've found ways to put less and less product into packs. And you've also noticed price inflation where the price continues to rise. Although I should point out that I listened to someone today. These are $45 per blaster. And I think when Top Chrome flagship came out, the first for basketball in all those years, I think it was $50 a blaster. And either way, in the secondary market on eBay, I think they were going for for 90. And by the way, Dave and Adams, which is a big .com card shop, they're selling. Topps had told all local card shops, we strongly encourage you to sell at MSRP, and we strongly encourage you to unseal the boxes in front of the customers to prevent scalping. Dave and Adams, they're charging $90 for the blasters. If you want to go to the website right now, I checked, it's $90. So. On eBay, the current price, the average price is around $60. My guess is if we go through the weekend and Cooper Flag does not get pulled, prices are going to rise dramatically. But it's almost like David Adams is already pricing their product where they think the market's going to be, or where they want it to be, and they're not going to sell those boxes for less because they want to make sure they get a huge profit margin. By the way, when I went to Art of Sports today to follow up to buy my, try to pick up 2 boxes of their stuff, like yesterday, blasters were totally sold out. I know that in the unopened Pac-Man store in Olathe, they only got 2 cases. And they were only giving out 1 at a time and with it unsealed. And they had 4 mega boxes left. Now check this out. Remember where we started with this. They're retailing for $85. You could buy them on eBay right now for $120. In one store in Kansas City, they were going for $120. In another $150. And in Art of Sports, my local one, was going for $175. And dude, there were only 4 left. That local card shop is literally in the same shopping center as the Dick's House of Sports, where they have insane inventory and they had plenty of megas, and they're letting you buy blasters up to 10 at $45. And meanwhile, this place is sold out, and they're charging $175, $50 more, and people were buying. Are people just not thinking? Are they just loyal to their local card shop? Are they not willing to do a little due diligence? Do they not know that Dick's Sporting Goods sells cards? I don't know. But to be fair, Target and Walmart have not gotten any shields. I called them. They said they're going to be delayed for a week. They're totally supposed to get some. But come on, there's no reason to spending $175 when you can go on eBay and pay 120, and even if you wanted to have that box this minute because you had to rip it, you can go to the baseball card store and they're selling them, I think, as many as you want at 120 a piece. So I just don't know why people, are look, this hobby can be very expensive. You got to be prudent with your money and be responsible, get the most out of it. All right, enough. Let's get to the cards. We waited long enough. I appreciate 46 beautiful souls in the chat. Thank you for joining me tonight. So right off the bat, we're after a good start. I don't know if you know this, but my nickname since I was a kid is Scooter. If you not noticed, my handle on Instagram and on Twitter is Scooter Fink for my main account. And I was nicknamed not after Scoot Henderson, but Scooter Phil Rizzuto from the New York Yankees. I don't know if Paulie, if you're watching, I don't know if you know that I'm named after Scooter Phil Rizzuto. But one of the best shortstops of all time, an amazing team captain and leader, and also, by the way, made people know this, one of the best bunters of all time. But Scoot Henderson, he was a top prospect when he came drafted. He has yet to fulfill the promise. But you know what? I think people might be sleeping on the Portland Trailblazers. John Morant, I think, is a top 10 talent. His card value has been tarnished because of some off-the-field shenanigans, but I think they can be pretty decent this year. So anyway, that's a base card for Scoot Henderson. We got our rookie card for John Broome. So check this out. The new logo is going to be the new logo for basketball for the foreseeable future. I'm curious to know if you like the rookie card. Paulie just wrote, "Holy cow!" That's right, my friend. Not only was Phil Rizzuto one of the greatest Yankee legends on the field, he then became one of the great legendary announcers, one of the best announcers of all time. And Phil Rizzuto has many famous, slogans and mantras. And after a big play, "Holy cow" was definitely one of them. And I listened to many, Yankee games in the car, driving to visit family when the Yankees are on, and listening to Scooter was awesome. All right, Damian Lillard, base. And then Nick Claxton, I'm going to give a cool photography alert to, just because it looks like he's doing either it's super photoshopped or he's doing a behind-the-back pass around that defender. I'm not sure. But the first pack, even though it had a guy named Scoot, that was a bust. If you want to keep score at home. Over my 1,000 pack openings that I did through my pack opening series, I didn't keep score, but my gut instinct is that 85% of the packs are bust packs. And then of that 15%, probably 10% of those packs were good, satisfying. You're yeah, that was a good pack. You feel good about it. And then about 5% had the magic, you pull an insane card that's worth, $500. I've definitely pulled a lot of those, and I've documented them in my book series. So that first pack was a bust. But we'll take it blaster box at a time, and every blaster, you hope you get at least one numbered card. And things like autos are not guaranteed, of course, only in hobby boxes. But I have found that whenever I've paid up for a hobby box, you pay so much more when you do the math of per card, and then it could be an auto of some guy who's not relevant, and you're very disappointed. I rather get more for my money, buy more blasters, get to rip more packs, get to see more potential cards, and then hope you get lucky. And over time, I found that I have. I have pulled my share of autos from retail blasters. And so, if you're in this hobby, whether you're a collector or you're an investor or you're just a pack rat, I don't see the fascination with paying up for the hobby box. For the retail price, like the $500 per hobby, let alone the marked up price, what's happening in the marketplace. That is part of the phenomenon I think that's happened from the breaking community, because they want to break that high-end stuff, and so the demand for it, leads to higher prices. I commend Topps, actually. Michael Rubin and the CEO of Topps were on Sports Card Nonsense during the National and talked about pricing, and they're going to do their best to always have a retail product that's at MSRP, like the value, like the blaster box, which you're now calling value. And even though it's not value, if you think about it, price per card of Topps basketball is over $2 per card, so it's not value in that respect. But compared to what they're charging for the megas in the marketplace and hobby, yeah, I guess it is a value box. But the point is, even with flagship football that's coming out with Mendoza on the cover, that hobby box is going to be, I think, $120, and that's, I think, very, look, they should cost $60. 2 years ago they were costing $60 for a hobby, I think, but given today's world and given that that hobby will still probably think have 1 or 2 guaranteed autos. That's decent. In fact, just for my Card Life book series, this was my last big spend, which was the basketball, because I'm writing the basketball guide to realize how to do it. And this is a really fun rip given the rookie class and the first time they're ever doing the rookie patch autos. But the one last thing I'm going to be buying with Modern is I'm going to buy one hobby box of NFL flagship coming out, and then one blaster box for my Jenga tower, and then I'm really done. Not done ripping wax. I have tons of Modern stuff to still rip. That's on my ping pong table, in my other room, which is all laid out for my storyline of the Card Life Volume 3. And so we'll rip tons of Modern stuff. But as you'll see, then I go back in time all the way from the pandemic through my childhood and then back into the old times. And so that book is a whole adventure. And then after that, after all that stuff, then we'll probably break into my junk wax collection. I've been buying junk wax hobby boxes now over the last several months for lots of reasons. A, because what I love, but also because they're starting to get scarce. I think as the junk wax comeback and bull market is coming, but also because it's sort of out of protest. I mean, NBA hoops, I would love to rip more NBA hoops just to kind of like get in the NBA vibe. They're going for like $250 on eBay, and at Dick's Sporting Goods, they're charging like $340 for a high box of Topps hoops. That's kind of crazy. So I'd rather just go and buy a 1989 Topps hobby box for like $40. And if it's basketball, like, yeah, if you go, I found a couple of small card shops in Kansas, and I found a couple of 1992, 93 NBA hoops, and they were like $125. I paid for them, but they were like worth like $250 in the market. But that's gonna be a really fun rip, and I'm gonna do all that stuff with you guys. And it's perfect for what I love. But the point is, I think that's just as enjoyable because of what I love, and it's no reason to overpay for all this Modern stuff. Yes, I understand how there are these cards that are worth hundreds of $1,000s, and maybe we'll pull one tonight. But the odds of you pulling one is still very, very low. So the rip should be about enjoyment, and I'd rather I enjoy not feel like I'm getting ripped off. So overpaying for these high boxes does not make much sense. I think you're much better off buying the blaster. There are people out there. I forget if it's Striker Breaks or Western New York on YouTube who break down the math and have a spreadsheet. There's also Slab Squatch. He was actually on the same episode of the Card Life as I was. We were split in half. We were both featured, and he is well known for doing tremendous spreadsheet work to analyze all the new products, and he'll tell you which ones and what are the odds and whatever. And you ultimately find out almost every time you're better off buying the blaster box at retail than overpaying for all the other formats. Let's see what Paulie wrote. Canolas in the booth were a regular. Cannolis in the booth were a regular. All right, there's Jalen Williams. So there's Zach Eady. So Zach Eady I feature in my first book, Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 1. So I'm not into sports card investing. I don't keep a portfolio of these high-end cards. I'm not constantly at trade nights trading them. I do collect lots of different things, and I write about all the different things I collect, but most of the things I collect are not expensive. It's just things that are meaningful to me, and there's a reason why. With Zach Eady, so I remember like in college, he was like Will Chamberlain in college, 2-year in a row player of the year. He was so dominant, 7'4", and I thought coming to the NBA, he was going to be huge. And so I went and I bought 4 different, I don't know if they were patch autos or what they were. I'm forgetting now, but they were like flawless or one of those high-end cards. And I think I paid like, $150 for each of them or something like that. And then the summer league, he sprained his ankle after getting off to a great start. And then he constantly kept getting re-injured. And ultimately, he, even though he did make second all-rookie team his rookie year, his card values basically tanked and never recovered. And I basically sold those cards and took losses. So it was a lesson in humility that a lot of investments in sports cards do not work out the way you hope for lots of different reasons. And that was the first time I kind of really went big with big speculation on a prospect, and it didn't work out. But I still love Zach Eady, and I'm rooting for him. And so it's fun to pull his card. And at some point I'll probably be collecting him once again. I tell you this, when I'm playing the this franchise on NBA 2K, and I'm starting in 1983. I'm going through and I'm collecting cards of all the players that I'm using throughout the seasons. Okay, the Kings are not even around anymore. That's the team I'm using. Anyway, Yeah, so when I get to the modern times eventually, like it might take me many months, maybe even years. I don't even know how long it's going to take. I'm only playing like 30-game seasons. You play every team once and then a full playoff. And I didn't expect that my team's going to make the playoffs the first few years, although it turns out my team is pretty darn good. We're 7-1, although I am playing on semi-pro because I'm not that great at NBA 2K. And if I do win the championship, I will increase it to the pro level. But the point is, it was just an excuse to have fun. You know, I've been spending the last 10 years writing books so hardcore, so OCD, it's just a compulsive that it was probably becoming unhealthy for me. And I've now put out 15 books, and I have many more to put out, but I'm slowing it down to 2 a year. So I am going to put out the Pokemon book in September because the Pokemon release for 30th anniversary is coming out right now. And then I'm going to put out the Flip Life Volume 2. That's already been scheduled for December 1st this year for some time. And then my next book will not come out until the summer. And then I'll put out a book in the summer and in Christmas time, you know, forevermore. In fact, the goal is to have the book I'm editing right now, The Basketball Gods Are Real. I took a picture that I'm using for the book cover. It was at my first day of Summer League this summer, NBA Summer League, and there's a ticket on the photo. You can see the court in the background. It says July 10th. So my goal is to release that book on July 10th, and hopefully I'll be back at Summer League with the NBA Top Shot guys, and I get invited again. I get to be on a couple of panels with Paulie and all stuff, and if I do, it'll be really perfect timing to be able to announce the release of that book. But yeah, having so much fun writing The Basketball Gods Are Real. The body of work, that initial manuscript was really good. I was really happy with it, but to be fair, it was very similar to the tone and writing style that I wrote all the other ones. I wrote them all at the same period of time during the pandemic. I wrote basketball, soccer, and hockey all at the same time. And then I wrote The Golf Gods a year later, but I mimicked the same formula, you know, the same kind of chapters, same writing styles, kind of like me proving that golf or hockey or basketball is a religion, like the hobby or the sport itself and the fandom around it. With this time, and I'm gonna, as I'm retooling it, I'm changing the tone. I'm not trying to kind of like prove to you that the basketball gods are real or that basketball is a religion. It's sort of like posing the question, like, well, why do people reference the basketball gods? You know, how is it that Danhausen was able to uncurse the Knicks? You know, what is it that we love about sports like basketball? Is it really about the dopamine hit of winning? Because the truth is, only one team wins every year, so every other team eventually ends their season in disappointment, right? Even San Antonio fans probably feel disappointed after getting to the finals and you lose and you feel like the season was lost. But believe me, if you were playing for the Clippers and you didn't make the playoffs at all, you know, you feel shitty all season long. Well, anyway, I think we love sports because of connection, right? When you feel part of something, like you could be a Knicks fan and be on a summer vacation in Italy and you see someone wearing a Knicks hat and you immediately have this connection because you both love the same thing. And that feeling of belonging, right? That feeling of community, even if it is superficial in some way, is important to people. And that's why people belong to all kinds of, you know, organizations and clubs and memberships, and whether it's a fraternity, a sorority in college, or even organized religion as adults, right? I mean, we're choosing to be part of these groups because we want to be part of something that's bigger than ourselves. And the truth is, you know, sports is way bigger than that, you know, because there's miracles and there's joy and yeah. But if you think about it, when the New York Knicks won the championship, strangers were hugging strangers in the street, right? It's a beautiful thing. There's something about sports that connects us all, and that's why we love it. So that's really where this book will be different. And so yeah, the chapters will be the same, you know, rituals, traditions, superstitions, saints, sinners, that sort of thing. But this one will be subtly different in the writing style, and I hope that kind of comes across. And you know, my wife tells me, she's like my devil's advocate, and she always tells me that this book series is very preachy. I'm kind of like preaching that the Pokemon gods are real or that baseball gods are real, but doesn't she know that it's just a metaphor? Doesn't she know that it's being tongue-in-cheek? It's like satirical, you know? It's just a nickname, you know, for God, for Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jesus. You know, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Probably the same guy who is worshipped by the followers of Islam and Muhammad. These are all monotheistic religions, right? It's all one God. It's a shame that so many of us on this planet fight over our differences instead of finding things that keep us that we have in common, that keep us together. And what I love about sports is that it's one of the things that unites us. You could be at a Knicks game right? And New York is a very diverse place, right? You can have a guy who's next to you who's a Muslim. The next guy could be a Jew. The next person can be from Pakistan. The next person can be from Mexico. And they're all together rooting for the Knicks. They're not thinking about who's a Republican and who's a Democrat when OG Anunoby has got his hand up and he's tapping in that ball. Like all the differences become irrelevant, right? When everyone's in that blissful time and space moment. So I think there's something that can be learned from that. And it's important for us as a humanity to find more ways to find things that we have in common. And America is a grand experiment. We are a great melting pot. Everyone here is an immigrant. It doesn't matter who you are. The only people who are born here were the Native Americans. All right. So we won't get political, but we're all immigrants, right? So we're all sharing this land. And I think that it makes sense that there's going to be some rough times, and we've had a lot of rough times throughout our history. It's Dave Matthews writes his Blood in the Water. There's a lot of darkness in our history, but it's also the best opportunity in the world for people to find freedom and happiness. And it's also the greatest experiment because I believe that in the end, we will find a way to all live in harmony together. And then America can become a beacon to all instead of right now we're the country starting all the wars. But wouldn't it be nice if the American people, not our government, but the people become exemplary for how we treat each other? So sports, come full circle, helps us do that. And so I think, some people think that sports are meaningless and they're not. They're very, very important to society. Some say that if you're cynical, the Romans, they had bread and circus because they were like, give the people bread and circus, get them drunk, keep them distracted watching them fight the lions. And then this way they won't worry about who the politicians are or what the laws are being passed. And maybe there's some truth to that, but there's also something really important about sports, especially growing up in sports, playing sports. You learn so much when you have success and when you have defeat. And you're learning teamwork and you're learning perseverance and so many interesting and important attributes that come from playing sports. And it's a shame that sports has become so competitive in our society with travel that eventually a kid gets to the point where they have to quit because they're not good enough. It's like they get shamed out of sports. I've seen it happen, but that's why rec sports are so important. And even though, this travel ball industry and all these different, sectors, even now volleyball competitive travel is a big industry and everything costs thousands of dollars now, but it's a shame. There needs to be a place where everybody can still play sports and enjoy the camaraderie of being on a team, even if it's not competitive. I hope that the Little League, for example, survives because that's one place where, the average kid can still, get a chance to play. All right, here's our first insert. We got Clutch City for Cayman Malak. And then Paolo Bonchero. I think Paolo got injured and he hasn't been the same, but didn't he put up 59 points in a game, this guy? All right, so if you're keeping score at home, I think that's another bus pack. So I think that's the third one. But I find that ripping packs is kind of like life. You got to be optimistic. If you're very negative, there's no way the sports car gods are going to reward you. So even though we've had 3 in a row, I'm ever optimistic. I got the glass magnetics ready for a big hit. And it doesn't have to be a rookie patch auto. I'm happy with anything. I'm just happy to enjoy this hobby. I'm happy that I can afford cards. I remember being a little kid, and I would go ride my bike into town on Merrick, Long Island. I would go to we didn't have a local card shop. We had a local smoke shop where they had a couple of video game machines, and we'd buy gum there, like Bazooka gum, and we'd buy packs. And your packs were from your allowance money. And then I remember I would always do hustle jobs. I would shovel snow and stuff like that in the winter all the time. And then any money that I had, I would spend on packs. And by the way, when I got out of the hobby in 1988, it wasn't because I went to high school and I was now chasing girls and playing varsity sports. I was playing 2 varsity sports, I was chasing girls. But that wasn't why I left the sports card hobby. What happened for me is I fell in love with a different hobby. I fell in love with music. And I eventually got a job at Record World, and I started spending all my money on CDs. And then when I discovered the jam bands, like the Grateful Dead, there were a couple of these shops in Long Island, I don't know, East Meadow or somewhere. Who knows where they were? And you can buy cassette tapes of bootlegs of shows of Grateful Dead, 1978, whatever. And I would start spending my money on all that stuff and whatever. And I remember going to summer camp and you'd trade them with other people and whatever. So I basically you only have so much money as a kid, and I still loved cards, I guess, but I just got refocused my attention and my dollars And that's how sports cards got left behind, because my love for music got even more insane in college at Tulane in New Orleans. And we had a record store called The Mushroom, which was half a block down my street sophomore year from our apartment. I bought so many records, and that's when these bootlegs went from like cassette to CD. And I started buying all these like bootleg CDs of all my favorite bands. That's when I got into Fish and Widespread Panic and all the jam bands. So anyway, yeah. So obviously I love music, and if you like reading books about music, I have a book series called The Music Gods Are Real, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I write all about my time in the music industry and all the adventures that I had. All right, this is a big card right here. This is a really good one. I don't know what it's going for. Someone can check the card ladder if you want to. But just from like the satisfaction that we've had like 3 bus packs, and we got our first Clutch Gene insert, and it's none other than Cooper Flag. So that's awesome. It's a cool design. I'm feeling it. It's one of the new ones. I think it's important for Topps to continue to experiment. They have not been able to replicate the mastery of the Panini insert, like Kaboom, Downtown. Some of those inserts were insane. I think that they'll eventually get it right, and they'll get rid of the inserts that are not popular. They'll check the secondary market. They'll see which cards are popular. Paulie writes, "Nice Cooper, good looking insert." Yeah, it is. It's kind of got this like it's got kind of like this like bluish greenish tint. I don't know if that's because of the inherent intentional card design, or it's because he's got a green jersey. But either way, that's the first card that deserves glass. So we'll get the gallery started finally. Last night we were up for 2 hours, and I think we had about a half dozen cards in the gallery. It can't just be any insert. It's got to be special. All right. So we still got 2 packs to go in this blaster. And while we did just pull that really good looking Cooper Flag insert rookie Clutch Gene, I think it's a number card still should be in the works. Chris Paul, Sion James, Fred Van Velt with the red, white, and blue. This has become one of the more popular parallel inserts. I get it. It looks good. Donovan Mitchell with a cool photography alert. By the way, I'm sporting jersey number 2 in my collection. This is the most recent buy, and frankly, it's the one I'll probably wear the most because I bought a bunch of them on eBay because you can't find necessarily. I'm like an adult medium, but I feel more comfortable in a large. But I found like a Pat Ewing, and it was a child's extra large. I bought it. It fits, but it's not like the best fit. I feel a little fat in it, whatever. And then I bought a couple others that are like that are also kids extra large. But this one's actually an adult large. It's actually a little big on me, but it's the most comfortable. When I'm writing, I like to be comfortable. So this will probably be my go-to like basketball jersey. But for all the different episodes, I'll wear a different jersey. I went around town and I found a bunch of them on sale. And then but this one I actually paid retail for, and I love it. My son was my son who goes to KU, so when he saw it today, he was like, "Wait, that K-State Wildcats?" He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, Dad?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a great jersey. I love it. And I'm selling books, dude. I can't be KU only. I gotta love everybody." All right, last pack. Just teasing. Hugo Gonzalez, Scoot Henderson of the red, white, and blue, and Lonzo Ball. So let it be on record. That blaster. I mean, look. Someone want to look up on eBay what a Cooper Flag Clutch Gene goes for? If it goes for $50, we broke even. Otherwise, this was a huge bust for blaster box number 1. But that's okay. We'll keep moving on. Oh, my dog Buddy is now hopping around. He's looking at my cards. I don't think there's anything that's edible here, though. All right, blaster number 2. Okay, so this is pretty wild. So we'll break my record. When I did my V-Friends rip, now we did go 3 hours long, but there's something about the live stream. I guess people will discover your live stream, like when they discover it. And I was going to discover it when it starts. I don't announce my live stream. I just like spontaneously put them on. And so if there's 30 people, there's 30 people. If there's 300, there's 300, whatever. But I noticed that with V-Friends, by the time it was like, I was like getting tired. I hadn't like gone to the bathroom yet. I would finish my drink, and it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm like, guys, I'm gonna take a break. But if you're still here when I get back, we'll keep going. And there was 684 people in the chat. And when I got back 10 minutes later, there was 687 people. It was actually 3 more people. Now, the rest of them could have been sleeping. I don't know. But the point is the amount of people kept increasing. And maybe it's a function of the longer you stay on or whatever. But I do intentionally like to do these late at night because then there's less competition. But also because this is what I'm usually writing. And as you know, I'm trying to slow down my writing and do other stuff, play video games, do more social media stuff and whatever. So this is kind of like my sweet spot anyway. It's kind of late night stuff, so it's perfect for me. And I know that for all you guys, all your favorite sports teams have already played. You've already watched your late night talk show hosts if you're into that sort of thing. Although it's Friday night, that's not even happening. So if you love basketball, if you love cards, watching someone rip packs is actually probably one of the more entertaining things to do. And now with YouTube, you can watch your YouTube on your flat screen TV, watch it in bed on your phone. If you go to sleep to me tonight, I won't be offended. I'll be honored. Many a night I've fallen asleep to YouTubers opening cards. Paulie writes, let's see. Odds on the product make it that much better. Red, white, and blues are pretty nice. I wish they put odds on the box of inserts. Yeah, you have to go to YouTubers to find out the odds and all this stuff. I don't think they want to emphasize the odds too much. Then it's kind of like they're it's too obvious that it's really gambling, you know. If they didn't cost a ton, I'd complete that set. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's awesome, dude. I think that set building is lost, you know. I think there's a lot of enjoyment in building the sets, and then when you don't have to keep the set. You actually can my friend Jake who works at the baseball card store, what he'll do is he enjoys building a set, and then he'll put it on eBay and he'll flip it. You know, maybe for auction, he'll auction it off for a set price, whatever. But he gets enjoyment of actually building the set, and then there's enjoyment in selling the set because the set in complete form is worth a lot more than the individual parts. Here's Colin Murray Boyles, Andrew Nebhard, Kevin Durant. How many teams has Kevin Durant been on? Anyone know? Is it like 15 teams by now? And Nolan Traore. All right, that's a bust pack for the first pack for number 2. Here we go. We got Walter Clayton Jr., Anthony Simmons, Jalen Green, Bradley Beal. I do know this. The base set of Topps Chrome had 300 players. Topps Update has 200 players. So you're more likely to get one of a rookie or one of the star players. And I also know, believe it or not, that Topps, I learned this today, Topps printed 40% less of Topps Chrome Update than Topps Chrome Flagship. So if you're looking for a product that has good hits and huge upside, this is it. Obviously, this is very low side too, because you can get bust, but the upside is huge. I mean, there's not just the Cooper Flag. There's many cards that can be worth $10,000, $100,000, even over $1 million in this set. So it's pretty wild. This doesn't happen that often. There aren't that many times where there's been this many insane chases. And so is it a one-time in a lifetime thing? No, it'll happen again. Everything goes through cycles. It just happened with the Ohtani double auto patch just a month ago. But for basketball, this is the first time ever. So it is pretty special. And so, yes, I spent way too much money on this stuff. But it's been a lot of fun so far. And I've got to share it with you guys and turn it into content, which is awesome, which I did do in the past. And I've really regretted that. And so I feel like, it's really a win-win. There's Ben Saraf. There's Alex Sarr. I think he was the number 1 or 2 pick last year, 2 years ago. There's Damon Lillard with the Ray Wave. And if you can pronounce this guy's last name, it's Yannick Conan Niederhausen for the Clippers. Another bust. Let's keep going. So literally, it has only one card in the gallery so far. And we're one blaster and a half through. With Ryan Nemhard. We've had pulled him once before. Clint Capella. We got a new addition, Hugo Gonzalez insert. I don't remember even seeing him play last year, Hugo Gonzalez. Is he a relevant rookie? D'Angelo Russell, he played on how many teams has he been on in the last couple of years? He's become a journeyman, huh? I remember last year, the season started, he played with the Lakers, and he was so bad. And then they traded him. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then we got on his new team. He was actually pretty good. Sometimes a new environment could make a difference. So here's a Jameer Watkins. That's just a cool photography alert. I've noticed that the update they've changed a lot of the images. So that means that a lot of these characters, I'm so used to talking about V-Friends, a lot of these players, some of them who are characters, they'll have more than one rookie card now because, like the Cooper Flags, for example, it's a different photo for his rookie card from the base set, Topps Chrome versus Topps Chrome Update. Okay, cool. Thanks, Paulie. The lowest buy now is $10 for that Cooper. So you paid $50 for it, $10 card, $40 loss. That's still pretty hefty loss. Do the math. That's like an 80% loss. And if you're an investor, if I was your money manager and I had an 80% loss, I'd be out of a job. So again, watch me rip packs because I can afford to do it, thankfully. But learn your lesson. That rip wax because it's fun and it's entertainment. But don't do it because you think it's a good investment. If you want to be an investor in the sports card market, I encourage you. It's a lot of fun and that's awesome. But buy singles. Just buy PSA 10s. And if you're a collector, buy PSA 9s because they're so undervalued. PSA 9s are like equal to raw now, which is nuts. But people who are investors are obsessed with the PSA 10. So personally, I'm at a card show and I see a card that I love, I'll no problem buy a PSA 9 because I'm just going to PC it. But if you're an investor, I think that's different. You have to understand what the next buyer is going to want when you sell it a year or two from now. And so I think, I think PSA has been the dominant manufacturer of a grading company, and that may be true for some time. I think that others may eventually have a huge market share gain. We'll see. But the point is, for the existing cards that are out there, I would stick with PSA 10 because you know how hard it is to gem a card when you send it to PSA. I proved that in Volume 1. It's really, really hard. You have so many cards that you think are 10s, and then you get a 7 or an 8, and it breaks your heart. And you spent $30 to get rejected. What a waste. Oh, here's a what? This is so interesting. It's a clutch gene for Carmelo Anthony. That was disappointing. I thought that might be somebody else. Yeah, he could really score, but he could not play defense. And I'll never forget that. He just could not play defense. But he had a cool personality. He was a character. All right, we got two more in blaster number 2 to go. $600 in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah, we had 687 in our 3-hour marathon for V-Friends, but I did a Topps Chrome thing last night. I think we hit 33 people, 35 people. So I haven't figured that out yet. If it's, what makes one night's show more successful than other. Maybe it's because it's Friday night, more people are home, whatever. Tyrese Proctor, Porzingis. Paulie, I'm going to mail you all my red, white, and blues. Here's another one. We got Damian Lillard. I mean, it is a pretty sweet-looking card. And actually, if you look subtly, there is a background. You can see, I mean, it's Photoshopped, obviously, but there's a crowd. So it is just like a cool design, I've also noticed, check this out, I've noticed that in Update, there's a lot of alternative jerseys. Look at this jersey. Isn't it cool? I've noticed the Charlotte Hornets, they're all in their orange alternative jerseys. All right, last pack of blaster number 2. Now, we talked about how I think on average you're supposed to get one numbered card per blaster. I don't know if that's where I'm coming up with that number. Maybe that's not true. But that's what it should be, I would think. Maybe that's what it is for a mega box, is one number card per mega box. But we had no number cards in the first blaster. We only pulled a $10 Clutch Gene Cooper Flag rookie card. So the first blaster was a $40 loss. The second blaster has been a complete loss so far, right? And then we have one pack to go. So there's a superstition, a ritual, a tradition that people in the hobby refer to called last pack magic. So let's find out if the sports card gods are real and if the last pack magic will activate for us. So let's give it a go. Positivity. Come on, we can do it. Thomas Sorber, Franz Wagner, another red, white, and blue. I mean, maybe those are worth something, but I can't believe these are worth more than like $3 to $5. and then a Jeremiah Fears rookie. So I have to be honest and say that's a strike two. That was a second bust. If the first blaster, actually, there's a bunch of YouTubers that I watch that kind of like do like a profit challenge, and they'll kind of like have like a cha-ching sign, and they'll show the numbers of how much money each card is worth, and they'll show the profit and loss. And I'm not sophisticated enough for that kind of technology, and this is live, but we can do the math pretty back of the hand. Blaster number one was a negative $40 investment, and blaster number two was negative 50. I say 50 because I paid 45, but then it's plus tax, so that's $50. So I have a bunch of crappy cards that I'll be using to include in envelopes when I send out my flips on eBay, and then I have some free cards to give away to kids at trade shows, and then like the better stuff like the inserts that those will be in I'll sleeve them up and penny sleeve them and top load them, and I'll give those away. I'll create a dollar bin situation and give those away for $1. So yeah, so that's the first two, and let's move on now to blaster number three. Hold on. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining tonight. I really appreciate it. In the future, I won't keep mentioning how many people are watching, but it's still new to me. I'm still kind of like in awe of the power of the internet. I once saw a Gary Vee video talking about how appreciate all the different baby steps as you grind on your social media world, and he was talking about followers and all that stuff, and he was like, look, if you have 30 followers, that's like a classroom filled up, if you have, in this case, 633, followers, watching you, that's like a gym filled up with people. That's amazing. I went to a concert on Wednesday night. I saw Jesse Wells play, and it actually was raining, so the original venue, Grinders, was rescheduled, and we went to the Uptown Theater, which was even better for me because it's closer to my house and it's a really great venue, and it was filled. And I think the capacity is like 2,400, I think, sold out show. So we haven't filled up an Uptown Theater, but I think 640 people fills up a high school gym. So I mean, that's just amazing to me. And I love the fact that the internet is global, and someone can be watching like in Bangladesh, and kid can be on his phone, on a playground right now in Singapore. Who knows where people are watching this? I just think it's awesome. But if you love basketball and you love sports cards, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. Let's go on to blaster number three. Yeah, when Paulie asked me to do the podcast, and I decided to start becoming like an online personality, I didn't really appreciate how much fun it would be. It's a very strange phenomenon because you know that you're talking to people because they're in the chat, they can respond to you, and you're and all that stuff, but you're basically talking to yourself. You're staring at a screen, and you see yourself. So it's a weird thing that you have to kind of get used to, and maybe you never really get used to it. But I think you do because I just talk like I assume you're all with me. I guess that's maybe kind of the art of being a YouTuber is getting comfortable with that, right? Okay. It's hard to call them value box. I want to call them a blaster box because it's really a value when it's 28 cards for $50. I don't think that's not really value. But anyway, let's rip. My dog is moving around again, so if he's gonna get frisky, I'll let you know. Let me see if he wants to go outside. We'll go potty outside. Okay, hold on real quick, guys. Let's see if he needs to go out. Hold on. All right, the chat. You guys are amazing. I leave. My dog's got to go potty, and I got a chance to go to the bathroom myself. And I come back, and like last time, there's more people than when I left. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. Question for the chat. Do you own a dog, and what kind of dog do you have? Let me know. I'm curious. I grew up. Hold on, let's see. Oh, Paulie was keeping the chat busy. Hold on, let's see. Oh, he was gonna keep the chat busy while I was gone. He just posted a question, but let's still ask the question so everyone can answer it. Who's your favorite NBA player again? Oh, for me, Bull Muggsy Bogues. I'm gonna send you a NBA Top Shot crypto slab so you can play the frame when you step away. I have several favorite players growing up. Okay, if I had to make a starting five of my favorite players, I could probably do that. Now, some of my favorite players, it's not because they were necessarily great, like as far as performance, right? It was because of their uniqueness. So, like, yes, Manute Bol, I mean, he did not have a very long career, but there was nothing like him when he came along. He was like super skinny and super tall, and he was like authentic African, and he was just awesome. He had a great accent. So yeah, Manute Bol would be my center. My backcourt is actually Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb. I always joke that I'm 5'5" on a good day. I'm basically 5'4". I'm a little dude, right? So I always played like point guard, or like, or on the bench in basketball. But Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues both were 5'7", I think 5'6", and I always rooted for them because I know how hard it is when you're undersized, and so I always appreciated how great they were, despite all that. So it'd be Manute Bol at center, Spud Webb, Muggsy Bogues. My favorite player of all time as a kid was Dominique Wilkins. So he would be at my. I'll probably put him, I guess, in this case, at power forward, and then Drazen Petrovic, who was a shooting guard for the New Jersey Nets. I was a Knicks fan my whole life, but I remember our cable TV for years started to get the New Jersey teams, New Jersey Devils and New Jersey Nets, and so I just watched a lot of. I played fantasy basketball all through high school, so anytime there was basketball on TV, which was rare, right? I watched games, and because we always had the Nets games, and I think I had like Derek Coleman on my team for a couple of seasons, so I was like always watching the games, and Drazen Petrovic played for the Nets, and he was a 3-point shooter like none other. Everyone gives Steph Curry this credit for like reinventing the game, but actually, if Drazen Petrovic had a full career, I believe he would have been given the credit for reinventing the game because he was an unbelievable deep 3-point shooter, and yeah, he was awesome. Unfortunately, he died in a tragic car accident. Very, very sad. But that'd be my starting five. But I don't know how good my starting five would be in real life. I don't, like Muggsy Bogues, Spud Webb, and Manute Bol. Dominique Wilkins in real life, was a great prolific scorer and he was an awesome dunker, but he didn't play very good defense. So like he never was on he never got on a championship team and went deep. All right, back to business. So I didn't have a dog growing up. I was a latchkey kid. I had two working parents. So I never, and none of my friends had dogs, so I never got to realize how awesome dogs were. And then when I got married, I was like, I really want to get a dog, and so we've had dogs forever. And I just think it's so fascinating how, like, if the same dog, you raise a dog in Japan, right? Go potty, what does that mean to a dog? What does go potty mean what would it sound like in Japanese or in Korean or like dogs learn from their owners. They learn to communicate, but I don't know how they do it. If it was reversed, would we figure it out? If the dog was, I don't know. It's just one of those things where like I'm just amazed how they figure out how to, like you obviously speak very simple to them and they only need like 2 or 3 things. It's like food, walk, whatever, play, but they do learn, and it's amazing how you can eventually your dog becomes like your friend, and you can like communicate with them, and it's a wild, and it really is a wild relationship. And I know all dogs are different, and all dogs have different levels of sophistication and in their personalities and stuff like that. Some are more, you know, compassionate and communicative than others. But I've loved having dogs. They've been, they're expensive and it's inconvenient at times. But it's very rewarding. I love it. So even though my dog has not interrupted 3 of my streams since I've launched the card like Chronicles, I think 3 of 12. So his batting average, his percentage is very, very high right now. But he's the best, and it's all good. What is this, people? What is this? Now, Paul Pierce is extra special because he played for KU, one of the best KU players. But this is an insert I've not seen before. It doesn't have, I don't see a name on it. Oh, it must be go time. It reads, in Game 2 of the 2008 NBA Finals, Paul pushed hard to maintain the momentum built in Game 1, mustering 22 points to help defeat the Lakers 108-102. So I know that they have these like moments in time this year as an insert series. I pulled 3 of them last night with a bunch of rookies. This is another insert that's related to a specific moment in time, but they call it Go Time, and definitely rare, right? We haven't pulled any of them. I've not even seen this card design pulled on any rip, so I don't think it's probably very valuable, especially because it's Paul Pierce. But given its unique nature, gallery time. Let's do it. So yeah, so we've definitely broken the record now for most people in a live stream. 751. I thank all of you. I appreciate it. The truth is, I know you're here because of the cards, but I also know the truth is you can watch a lot of other people ripping cards right now too, and you're here hanging out with me, and our awesome chat with guys like Paulie from the What Do You Collect podcast and the Collecting and Connecting podcast network, and yeah, not to blow too much smoke, but Paulie's a really fantastic human being, and I'm forever indebted and grateful to him. His friendship has really taken my career to a whole new level. And Paul, just so you know, I mean, it's definitely crazy, man. My book sales have, not that I'm like crushing it, but like my book sales are definitely rising from doing these podcasts and all that stuff. And it was Paulie who, offered me the opportunity, encouraged me to do more of it. And so glad that I have. It really has been so fulfilling, and it's really made my whole routine, and life just so much more fun. It's been a blast. Sion James, there's Miles Turner, and Derek White. I mean, the truth is, I love sports cards, so it's not like hard work doing this. It's fun, It's not work. Yeah, I think Paulie's building the next Barstool. I could see a day where, like, By the way, check out Netflix. There are so many podcasts that are now on Netflix, and I'm sure those guys are getting paid good money. And right now I'm on my laptop and I'm using my phone and whatever. But when we go from 53 followers to 7,000 followers to 700,000 followers, we'll be doing this on Netflix, man, right? And we'll be, with Barstool, they've all these different personalities, and I guess I think they commingle each other's shows and stuff like that. And Paulie's built a great collective of individuals. In fact, he just launched another show about New Orleans basketball and one about Chicago, and I'm going to be a guest on his a new show about Pokemon. So he's and by the way, there's Briar J, who I just discovered today, Paulie. We've become friends on Twitter, and I've retweeted her stuff and whatever. But I actually watched her show today with Disney Collectibles, and it's just awesome what you're doing, man. You're building something unique because it's an awesome hobby, and when people love a hobby, they want to consume content of it, and the internet and YouTube and all these platforms, like Buzzer, for example. We're now on Buzzer. It allows people to watch television anyway, however how they choose, and TV programming is now out the window. I could decide at any moment to turn on my computer and go live, and in time people are going to join the stream, and now we got 756 people. It's just amazing. So like the old ways of television is over, and advertising money is going to flow differently. And I was watching today. I watched Rob Neo. He's in the sports card hobby, and like he does his intro, and next thing you know, he's like showing off a pack of penny sleeves. He was doing an advertisement, and he's getting paid for that. Like, because the truth is, the people who are in this hobby, the businesses, they need to do target marketing to find people who need their products, and it's this whole generation of YouTubers who provide the platform for these advertisers to reach their target market. I have a business degree. I focus on this stuff. It's interesting to me. So yeah, I think that the sports card hobby is just getting started. It's in its infancy as far as media. Paulie writes, "We're all going to be in Disneyland next week for the D23 at the Disney Pinnacle booth. If anyone's in Anaheim, oh my God, dude! If you live in Anaheim, get to D23. That's awesome, Paulie. Dude, Paulie's had one heck of a summer. Holy shnikes, man. He was in Vegas for NBA Top Shot Summer League. Then it was home, but then he was at Fanatics Fest. Then he went to the National, and now he's going to D23 in Anaheim with Disney Pinnacle at their booth. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I mean Disney is blowing up. Lorcana has become a TCG, which is very, very popular in the hobby. Look, Disney is a very, very powerful media company, and if they want to have a footprint and foothold the sports card market, they're going to do it, and they have the intellectual property to do so. Are there sports cards? Yes, there are sports cards for Disney. It's for Star Wars, sorry, but all their different properties will be in sports cards, if not already, for sure. Why not? Anthony Davis what team is he on now? Is he on Washington? I thought he was going to reunite with LeBron somehow, but maybe not. All right. I think it's a bus pack, guys. Let's keep going. So I think this is blaster number 3, if I'm correct. LaMelo Ball. I like the veterans, but Rick Barry was fantastic. But that's just a base. Khalil Ware. And then Sabonis, another bust. For those keeping score at home, I'm keeping score. You know what? I love statistics. I love math. I love probability. I do love investing. And I do love gambling. I think all that stuff is interesting to me. So when you rip wax, everyone's experience is different. The probability is set in stone. There's only so many cards there's so many different parallels out there, and whether you get them or not is based on the sports card gods, right? Drew Holiday, Carter Bryant rookie card. Here's a Shaq card with a cool photography alert. And they could choose any photo. And look at this photo of Shaq. Devin Booker. Devin Booker, I think, still has some big basketball left in him to play. He needs a supporting cast around him, I think, though. Okay, 2 packs to go, guys. Still no numbered cards. Still no autos. So they must be coming now. There's a familiar face. Steph Curry. Base. Herbert Jones. Jaden Hardy with the Ray Wave. And Aaron Nesmith. Bust. Last pack Magic. I mean, again, when you go to a store like Dick's Sporting Goods and I pick up 10 boxes, I guess a certain number of these boxes come in a case, and every case is going to have a certain number of hits, but it's all random. I could pick the 10 boxes of the ones that don't have the hits. It could also mean they're all in the next few packs. Let's hope so. Here we go. I remain optimistic. Giannis. Photoshop. Giannis. I feel like a lot of these, kind of look photoshopped. Although that one's a live one. That's a cool photography alert. But another bust blaster box. It's hard to call them value when they're full of busts. That's okay. We'll keep going. Blaster box number 4. Let's do it. Yeah, I encourage all of you, if you spend as much time and money whipping wax as I do, go to LegalZoom.com and for like $100, create an LLC and start a YouTube channel. And it does not matter if you have 1 viewer or 100. You know how you have a business, and so therefore you can file a tax return for your LLC with your accountant under your social security number. It's not like a corporation, but then all your business expenses, like gasoline to go to a trade show, or buying a table at a trade show, anything to run your business. And if you're just a YouTuber and your revenue will be future revenue from advertising, and your cost to do business is buying the products that you open because you're providing entertainment services, right? That's a business. You don't have to have a huge profitable business, but now all your hobby expenses are actually coming off your taxes. So to me, I backed into that because I already had a publishing company and I'd written many books before I realized, oh shit, I can write a book about sports cards and then buy the cards. All the cards I was buying before then, I was just paying for them like everybody else. But going forward, everything I do forever will always be for sports, book writing purposes. So why can't everyone do that? So I would suggest that you go do that right now. Go to LegalZoom. You can do it for free, or not for free, for cheap. And America is a great country, right? We don't live in North Korea. The beautiful part about America is that anyone can start a business, and you'll be surprised. Maybe you will enjoy ripping packs online, and maybe you'll get a huge following, and maybe you will make lots of money with, product placement and YouTube advertisements. Who knows? But at a minimum, it's a way to get more out of your hobby because you'll have a larger wallet to spend on cards. That's a cool photography alert, Tyrese Maxey. Look at that ball. It's like in your face. Cameron Johnson. Seeing a lot of Carmelo Anthony. Only 2 cards in the gallery and our 4th blaster. So I'll be honest, this has not been a very kind session, but let's hope it gets better soon. Bill Russell, a legend, 10 championships? Rudy Gobert, Jonathan Kuminga. I wonder how they decide who gets a horizontal card. There's Al Horford. Another bust. Ace Bailey, that's a good rookie card. He's not like one of the top rookies. He's like a top 10 rookie. But you never know how a rookie will do in their second year. They can really improve after their first year. Brandon Ingram. There's Eamon Thompson with a cool photography alert and a Ray Wave. And then Micah Peavy. Still a bust in my book. I'm going to have a shoebox full of crappy cards for the baseball card store at this rate. There's Yang. Josh Hart. Congrats to the New York Knicks winning their first championship in 53 years. So we've seen this once before. It's a new edition insert rookie card for Kasparis Jakakunis, and then a Stephen Castle cool photography alert. Look how high above the rim he is in that. That's sweet. San Antonio Spurs lost to the Knicks in the finals, but that's a young team. They're going to be good for a very long time. Stephen Castle, Stephen Harper, Wemby. That's a good core. Drake Powell, Jordan Poole. Clutch Gene insert, rookie card. Trey Johnson, the third. Does that deserve the gallery? What do you guys think in the in chat. And Noah Henda. I mean, the clutch gene for Cooper Flag, it's Cooper Flag, right? What do you guys think? Up or down? Yes or no? You guys want to vote? Give me a chat. Gallery, yes or no? I'm going to say no. Gallery should be extra special. Keep going. Bashir Fleming. John Murray. Bogdan Bogdanovic with the red, white, and blue. That's a color match, as they call it. Color match. That looks good. And then Michael Porter Jr. All right, last pack of Blaster number 4. Now, this is getting ridiculous because still no numbered cards. Still waiting for our first auto. Only 2 cards that we have deemed worthy of the gallery. So that means we lost $40 on number 1. We lost all 50 on number 2, and then 50 on number 3. Unless we pull something amazing right now. Let's go. Let's do it. Sports card gods, be with us. Cam Jones, rookie. Grayson Allen. Kobe White, red, white, and blue. Fred Van Fleet. So that, my friend, is another bust. Let's keep going. I feel like this is like a science experiment. It's like, did I really pick up this many horrible boxes? We discussed how they printed, Topps did, 40% less cards. We talked about how there's 200 players instead of 300. So the odds should be more compelling. But the thing about probability is just because of the odds doesn't mean they're going to fall into place for you. You know? All right, here we go. Oh, Paula, you gifted me a SpudWeb NBA Top Shot moment. Thank you very much. If you guys haven't checked out NBA Top Shot, you should. It's a lot of fun. Javon Small, Alperen Sengun, Clutch Gene, Kawhi Leonard. That's becoming kind of a common card. I'm guessing that's not worth a lot in the market. And then Najee Marshall. I mean, my pack opening series has proven that ripping wax is not profitable. It's a lot of fun, but for most people, it's you do it for entertainment. You don't do it for the money. It's like playing the lottery. It's Trey Murray III, Chet Holmgren. But if you believe in players and you think they're going to be better over time, buying their individual cards, the PSA 10s, I think that makes a lot of sense, But I think the hobby is multifaceted, and ripping wax is a big part of the hobby. And for me, it's what I love the most, I don't consider myself like a degenerate, but there is a kind of a degen component to it. I will admit that for sure. And I don't gamble, right? But this is maybe my form of it, because there is a gambling component to it. Andrew Wiggins. There's Wemby with the base. He's Jaylen Brown with the red, white, and blue. Now he'll be on the Sixers. Alex Caruso. Another bust. Actually, these have been so bad that you might should go out and buy some packs, because all the cards that you're looking for are still available, and I'm another person who didn't find them yet. It's got to be hopeful. R.J. Washington, Draymond Green, who just resigned, going back to Golden State. Not surprised. Sabonis, and this is the first one. OG Anunoby. This guy single-handedly won a championship for the New York Knicks. Made an amazing, miraculous play with seconds to go. So thank you, everyone, for joining me on a Friday night. I appreciate it. I wonder if I did this tomorrow night and it's hockey, would 760 people be watching or no? Because it's the product you guys are caring about, NBA. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll be doing other products soon. It won't always be the new hot product. In fact, I have a lot of other surprising stuff coming, but the real bread and butter will be the all the stuff that I have planned for the Car Life Volume 3 that we have yet to rip. There's some fun stuff in that group. Derek Lively the second. Cade Cunningham. LeBron James. Look at that cool photography alert. Pretty wild. He'll be in Philadelphia. And then Larry Legend. Larry Bird. Bust. It's got to get better, people, right? It's got to. It's got to. Here's Shaden Sharp with a cool photography alert. Cool dunk. Bam Adebayo. Kevin Durant on the Ray Wave. And for the first time we've seen him, Austin Reeves. Okay. Last pack magic has not happened at all yet. We still only have 2 cards in the gallery. This has been a trash can rip so far. I think I just saw Concanapple. Malik Monk. Zach Levine. Walter Clayton Jr. with the Clutch City. And then, yeah, Concanapple rookie card. I guess he's like the number 2 rookie. I guess we'll give that some glass. Yeah, I mentioned the Charlottes. All the players, they must have had the photography team in Charlotte for this one game, and all the photos were taken from the same game. Everyone's in orange. All right, let's keep going, man. That's halfway through the 10. That's the first 5. So all I can tell you is that if you believe in the laws of probabilities and standard deviation and how mathematics work, the next 5 could be amazing because the first 5 were very poor. I'm being kind. I had fun. I'm glad I got to share it with all you, but it was not very compelling entertainment based on the cards pulled. Maybe I was entertaining, but the cards were not very entertaining. But it's going to get better. It's got to. Let's manifest it into existence. Let's do it. Ready? All right, number 6. Blaster number 6 out of 10. Julius Randle. That kind of reminds me of this jersey. This is the K-State jersey with the purple. These T-Wolves jerseys are pretty sweet. There we go. That's a legit rookie card. You got Dylan Harper. So now it's Concanapple and Dylan Harper rookies. And then, whoa, okay. Moment in time Concanapple rookie card. Marking his first professional bucket at Madison Square Garden, Con dribbled smoothly at the logo, abated his defender up, and laced in for a mid-range score. And Amen Thompson. All right, so far the theory has proven correct. The first 5 blasters were really terrible. and the first pack of blaster number 6 yielded 2 cards that are worthy of the gallery, just like that. So that's cool. All right, let's pack. Aaron Gordon. I watched this NBA TV thing the other day. It was showing the best dunks of the year, and the Joker Jokic did this alley oop to Aaron Gordon, but it like turned him around, so he jumped up and he did this 360 dunk, caught the ball in the air and dunked it. One of the most athletic plays I've ever seen. I'm bullish on Aaron Gordon. He's terrific. Whoa. Whew. Getting tired. Allen Iverson. It's sort of like Carmelo Anthony. He's like random Hall of Fame All Star kind of guys. But AI was one of the greatest. And you know what? He's probably on like my second team of favorite players of all time because he was also really small. But boy, could he dribble! Boy, could he cut to the hoop! Boy, was he fearless! And boy, did he have confidence on and off the court. He was awesome. All right, we just hit a banger. So my thesis about probability and statistics is proving true. First 5 boxes yielded 0 numbered cards, 0 autos. We only had 2 cards even worthy of the gallery, and I'm probably being generous with the that Paul Pierce one, right? The first one that was worthy of it was a rookie card, Clutch Gene of Cooper Flag. Paulie, I know you love the red, white, and blue. There is a Cooper Flag rookie, red, white, and blue. Got it on again. Whew. That's the problem with these late night rip sessions. It makes me I get tired. And I don't drink coffee anymore, so I can't I don't have the endurance that I used to. That's a big hit. And then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, it might only be still. I mean, I don't even know how much it goes for, but yeah, I know, Paul. You love the red, white, and blue stuff, right? So this is like the ultimate red, white, and blue. It's Cooper Flag. I mean, let's be honest. Cooper Flag was one of the best freshmen in college basketball history. He's one of the youngest players to play as a rookie in the NBA. And he was on a terrible team last year, and he was fantastic. So I think he has deserved all the hype. I think his upside is tremendous. Now, that being said, Darren Peterson for KU, he had a tremendous freshman year, but he had a lot of injuries. He didn't play as much as he was supposed to. And by the way, actually, Cooper Flag actually got injured. He sprained his ankle in the NCAA tournament. Whoa, low 100s. Okay, so that's huge. I mean, look, in the first 5 blasters, I'd say we lost, all of it, except $10 from the first blaster. But first pack of the second batch of blaster number 6, really good start. Whew. So I write about Cooper Flag. You know what? My books all kind of blend together, honestly. But I guess it was in Flip Life Volume 2, which comes out in December. There's a chapter about Cooper Flag, and actually about the fact that he was hot to trot, and people were all over his Bowman University cards, and he became a huge chase, and everyone knew he was going to be a top draft pick in number 1 and a huge money making opportunity. But then in the NCAA tournament, he got hurt, and his card values went down. And sprained ankles are tough because look at Zach Edey. He has never recovered from his sprained ankle. It's a recurring problem now. I guess Cooper's was mild, and so he did miss the tournament, and it hurt Duke's chances of making a run. but it didn't prevent him from being healthy for summer league, and then he wound up being awesome this year, and so had some, in that show about the best dunks of the year, he had some really good ones. It's Darius Garland, Aaron Wiggins, another red, white, and blue rookie for Ryan Nemard, and Trey Murray III. So when you pull $100 card, that's pretty huge, right? That makes up for two of the blasters that were busts. So I'm not gonna keep score, with a spreadsheet or anything, but that's a good win. I'm making a mess over here, by the way. Look at this one. It looks like he's not gonna make the dunk. It's like he's gonna clang it off of the rim. Isn't that interesting? Rudy Gobert, Trey Johnson the third. Yeah, so I think that this next rookie class can be maybe not as high profile as last year because Cooper Flag might be a generational talent, but I think that there's a really deep class. I mean, the same way that there's 5 to 10 top rookies this year, I think next year will be that much more so, maybe even deeper. Kawhi Leonard, Tobias Harris, Noah Senge, Miles Turner, bus back. All right, we're nearing 1 a.m. in the Midwest, 2 a.m. on the East Coast. Jaylen Brown, Mike Conley. These are good ones. Steph Curry with the Ray Wave. I mean, Steph is a generational talent. Probably only a $5, $10 card, I'm guessing, but he's one of the premier players. He's very, very likable. I've always liked him. I've always rooted for him. I think he's the all-time leading scorer for three-pointers now, for sure. I think that card is gallery worthy. And then we got a Jaconis rookie card for Miami. Oh shit! Sorry, man down. Excuse me. Let me fix the gallery a little bit. I don't think it's lined up properly. Oh shit! Man down. Hold on. Yeah, when we're the next Barstool Polly and we're doing this on Netflix, I can't be knocking over cards, right? Or maybe that's actually the charm is that we're so authentic. All right, Steph Curry going to glass. Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't take care of our cards. I put stuff into a binder, I guess, but we didn't have like glass magnetics. We didn't have penny sleeves. We didn't have top loaders. All this stuff is, new. Chef Curry. All right, last pack of blaster number 6. Get you a ring card girl. Anthony Davis, DeAndre Ayton. This is a cool card alert. Tyler Hero with the Paradox. It's a shame he's not on Miami anymore. Now he's in the Bucks. He was part of the Giannis trade. He's got a rap song named after him. I mean, come on. Really weird looking card. Very cool insert. Probably not the player you want to pull, but I think it's going in the gallery because it's just like it's so unique. And then Jalen Green. Yeah, this is the kind of example where, like, I mean, I don't love this insert. It's all right, but I think it's cool that Topps is trying different stuff. They got to find their version of the kaboom. So I think they try this stuff and they see if it responds well in the market, and if it does, they'll keep it. If not, they won't use it again. They'll replace it with something else. But yeah, Tyler Hero, he's one of these guys who I think he can shoot, but he can't play defense. Is that right? All right, 4 to go if we can stay awake. I mean, if you guys are staying awake, I'll do my best. I mean, we have 764 people in the chat. Thank you so much. That's a record. So I thank you very much. Hope you're having as much fun as I am. So tomorrow, I'll probably go to sleep late because I'm staying up so late. But there's an awesome trade show in Kansas City tomorrow in Lee Summit, Missouri. So like 15, 20 minutes from my house, Saturday and Sunday. There's a lot of great trade shows in Kansas City throughout the year. This is one of the better ones. Great venue. The most dealers out of any other show we have. I always bring some signed books. I give them out to people. You know, if I do a transaction with somebody, I get them give them a signed book as a gift to say, "Hey, thanks." I get a lot of my wax at trade shows. You can get some decent. You know, I don't think you get any good deals at the national. That's always very overpriced. But locally, you can get some decent deals. You can negotiate. There's like discount bins and stuff like that. There's Mattis, Bazulis, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Adu Thero, rookie. Bust. Keep going. TJ McConnell, I just love those alternative Pacer jerseys. I give them a 2 thumbs up on that. Jamal Murray, Trey Johnson, the third, we've pulled a bunch. And then Jonathan Kuminga. Kyle Kuzma. There's Luka. So this is the first time he's been in a Laker uniform on a sports card, I believe, because that's what's the benefit of Topps update. He got traded throughout the year, so that's definitely going to the gallery. And then Jeremiah Fears with the Ray Wave, and then Caleb Love, rookie. Yeah, Luka, face of the league for a couple of years, for sure. I love watching him play. I think he's one of the most fun players to watch. Love his his long range shooting. I love his passing. I like how he dribbles. Big fan of Luka. I don't think the Lakers though will be very good this year. I don't think he's got a good enough supporting cast. So his talent might get wasted in LA. We'll see. Colin Sexton, Mikal Bridges. Here's Cade Cunningham with the Stratospheric Stars. Borderline worthy of the gallery. We'll say no, though. And then Bogdanovic. 3 more in this pack. Okay, so let's do something in the chat. Predictions? Who's going to win the NBA Finals next year? Will it be the New York Knicks? Can they repeat? It's so hard to repeat. Will it be the Philadelphia 76ers? San Antonio Spurs? OKC? Boston? Who's it going to be? Leave it in the chat below, your prediction. And then in a year from now, we'll see who's right. Mulak? TJ Barrett? Whoa, this is a new one. No limit insert for Jason Tatum. Yeah, I could see the San Antonio Spurs winning it next year. Paulie writes, Nick back to back is my prediction versus OKC. Yeah, I think that's a good call. I mean, let's be honest. The Knicks are bringing back the same starting five. The team chemistry will only be better. Yeah, I think the Knicks are going to the finals for sure. I think that like the the Philadelphia 76ers will look good on paper, but after a 82 game season, I think that they'll wear down. And Joel Embiid with a history of injuries. LeBron will be another year older. I think he could become an injury problem. They don't have depth in Philly, so I don't think that's the answer. Asa Newell, and like Detroit, they didn't get better. Cleveland didn't get better. So who can really challenge the Knicks? Paul George, D'Angelo Russell, red, white, and blue, and Derek White. The West has been heavily stacked over the last several years. The East definitely got better. It's been like a decent shift, but not enough. So I think it's still a Western heavy league, but that doesn't matter. The Knicks were still the best team last year. They deserve to win it all. Danny Wolf, Kobe White, Brandon Ingram in the red, white, and blue, and Jalen Hardy. All right, 3 blasters to go. We just passed the 2-hour mark. My personal record, we went 2 hours last night. My record is 3 hours. I doubt we'll break that record tonight. Well, we could tie it, though. We'll see. But excuse me. But I thank all of you guys for hanging tonight. The Card Life Chronicles, we're calling it. I came up with that idea because I was on the Card Life TV show with Brandon Verzel. He was actually the first guest on my first episode of my interview podcast show. And I'm naming the Flip Life Volume 2 after the idea of like flipping cards on eBay and using that as a Trojan horse to sell my books and stuff like that. And then Volume 3 is about how I transitioned to my pack openings and became a trade show vendor and became a podcast host and a streamer. And I kind of transitioned to a new phase of the hobby. And now I'm kind of just living the card life, right? And so one of the, that's what that's where the idea came from. And so the Card Life Chronicles is documenting through video all the different things that I'm doing for these books. And so I'm chronicling the card life. Get it? Okay, WWRC5763. Thank you for joining the chat with a comment. OKC Healthy should win the championship 2026-27. Yeah, I mean, I think you're on the right track with Paulie. It would be OKC versus the Knicks, and just a matter of who would win it next year. Paulie's got the Knicks going back-to-back, and you got OKC taking down San Antonio in the Western Conference Final and then probably defeating the Knicks to win it all. I think you could be right. The question is, did Chet Holmgren get exposed last year? Does San Antonio kind of have their number now? We'll have to wait and see. That'll be an awesome rematch, that's for sure, though. But WWRC, I think that's a great call, though, for sure. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Appreciate you. There's Murray, Cam Jones. Russell Westbrook is a free agent. I had Matt Vinyls on as my guest last week for my Sports Card Collectors Club podcast. He's a big Philly guy. And I was talking about how they don't have a deep bench. They're starting 5, though. It looks great on paper. And I said, I heard a rumor that Russell Westbrook might sign with you guys. He said it's not true. Not going to happen. They just don't have the cap space right now. Hey, WWRC 5763. This card is for you. I just pulled a SGA. That's the sports card gods, the basketball gods, giving you a wink saying your prediction could be correct. Grayson Allen. Another LeBron base. Bobby Portis. Bust. We'll stay optimistic though. Let's keep going. So yeah, so I'm actually excited to go to a trade show. I haven't been to one in a few weeks. Julius Randle. There we go. Dylan Harper, rookie card. I think it's our second one now in this session. And then Ivica Zubac. And then Kyrie Irving. You know, Stephen A. Smith just recently apologized to Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving took a lot of shit, as did I, by the way, personally, for not getting vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. And the NBA was mandating it, and players like Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving have been proven correct. Turns out that Fauci he should be convicted for war crimes. That guy, he lied. He literally took the vaccine himself, and got a heart condition, and then didn't disclose that to the public, and then kept telling everyone to keep getting vaxxed the third and fourth time when one of the main side effects that they hid actually happened to him. I mean, I just learned that from the congressional hearings. I cannot believe that. Shame on that guy. I feel really bad for everyone who took it, who believed that the science was right. My feeling was that all the Democrats who hated Trump, who lined up for the vaccine, I'm like, you guys hate Trump. He's the one who rolled it out at warp speed. It was Operation Warp Speed. It's probably maybe could have some side effects if they're rushing it out so fast. Shouldn't they take their time and get it right? And everyone's like, no, I'll take it. And I was like, let's wait and let's see if it's the first person, the first nurse who got the vax, she collapsed on live television. Everyone kind of like forgets that. So it's really terrible what happened to people who refused to get the vaccine. They were demonized. People lost their jobs. People lost their friends. And it turns out the people who refused the vax, turns out, let's go, they were right. So shout out to all the people who refused the vax. But if you did get it, I had nothing but sympathy because you were like forced to take it, or threatened to take it. If I was at Morgan Stanley, they would have made me take it. I was an independent I was an entrepreneur. I had my own business, so it was easy for me. But I had to fight to get my kids not to take it, and it wasn't easy. But George Washington University, my daughter was a freshman. They were mandating it. We had to write a huge letter, and for all these reasons why to opt out of it, and they honored it, and she didn't have to get vaccinated, and I'm glad because she's gonna have babies one day, and who knows what the side effects are from that stuff. We didn't know mRNA technology; it's totally brand new, and it was not properly tested on animals and humans before they rolled it out at warp speed. So here we are now, and I've had some family and friends call to say, I'm sorry that I was so hard on you. Turns out you were right. And I say, no hard feelings, man. You didn't know any better. It turns out that all the information on like Facebook and Google was censored, and YouTube was removed. So I only found out the truth because I was willing to go to these alternative conspiracy sites to learn about what all the alternative data was saying. And that's the reason why I became so skeptical that I was like, you know what? I'm not anti-vax. I'm pro-vax. I'm just anti this one until it's proven to be healthy. And then when people started dying left and right from aneurysms and stuff like that, and then turbo cancer, I was like, well, maybe the vaccine's hurting people's immune systems. And that's basically what happened. So it's just awful. I mean, how many athletes died of heart attacks live on television during the whole pandemic? I think it was over 1,000. And no one thought that was weird, but no one was dying of heart attacks collapsing before the pandemic on television. But it became very commonplace. And in high school gyms and high school basketball games and high school football games and stuff like that, it was really terrible. It's I guess the lesson is that, to think for yourself and to trust your intuition and to be a healthy cynic and a healthy skeptic when it comes to your health, yeah. So I'll digress from all that. Let's get back to cards. So you guys know how much I love Zach Edey. This card's probably worthless, but it's going to go to the gallery. We've rarely pulled power players, and Zach is my boy. And look who it is. So this is kind of funny, right? This set is 200 cards. Topps Chrome was 300. So it's supposed to be only the top rookies and the top kind of players. And yet there's Bronny James in this set. I happen to like Bronny. I'm rooting for Bronny. But he probably doesn't deserve to be in this set, if I'm being honest. All right, hold on. I need some more glass. So that's our second Dylan Harper rookie. Blez, the box breaker Blez, he put a $1 million bounty on the Derek Harper rookie patch auto. So if that card is worth $1 million, what do you think the Cooper flag is worth? I know there's a bounty for $3 million. I think there might be another one for $4 million. I mean, it's a whole different question to beg about society. Where does it say that society's at, that a sports card that's inherent value is 15 cents of cardboard can be worth $4 million? I mean, think about the kind of house you could buy with $4 million. Someone would rather own a sports card than a mansion. It's wild. But this is why I'm writing The Basketball Gods Are Real, because we love sports so much. Like, what is it that people want to feel so connected to it? It's just a very powerful thing. So I just want to write about that phenomenon. Darius Garland, Aaron Wiggins. What is this? Look at this insert. No limit. Now it's Dirk Nowitzki, who was awesome, by the way, so it's not like Cooper flag. But just from like a design perspective, beautiful card. And Desmond Bain. So I think that these inserts are pretty good. I like this one. This one looks like a bad Photoshop job, right? I like the alternative jerseys, though. It's the Atlanta Hawks with a peach tree jersey. That's cool. All right, last pack, and then 2 blasters to go, guys. Kawhi Leonard, Tobias Harris, Andrew Nemard, red, white, and blue. I think Al's the only guy with a horizontal card in the whole set. Is that right? It's just so strange. Why? All right, yeah, we got 2 to go. So things have gotten a lot better in the back half of this rip, right? I mean, the Cooper flag, red, white, and blue for sure. 2 Dylan Harper rookies, but still no autos, still no numbered cards. Come on. Come on, Topps, be better. Definitely haven't got my money's worth, but I've definitely had a lot of fun. And the ability to share it with you now and create a show about ripping cards called the Card Life Chronicles is awesome, and well worth every penny. All right, here we go. Blaster box number 9. All bought tonight at Dick's Sporting Goods because they changed the rule from yesterday $2 two limit. Today it went to 10 for some reason. Back-to-back rookies. And then our first Jimmy Butler card. You know, Jimmy Butler signed to Golden State traded late last year. That was a good team with Draymond Green and Steph, but then he got injured, and that was a disappointment. And then they really, they couldn't compete in the playoffs. Grayson Allen. There's Brooks, another Allen Iverson, and the first time we've pulled it, Christian Braun, also in the alternative jersey. Julius Randle, another Dylan Harper rookie. Allen Iverson, Ray Wave. And then one of my favorite players to watch, first time we pulled it, John Morant. I guess if the first two Dylan Harper rookies deserved the glass, the third one does too, right? Aaron Gordon. Wow, I mean, how many times we pulled Allen Iverson? Okay, this is a weird one. Fortune 15. I don't even know what that means, but this was an insert in Topps Chrome Baseball, and it's Josh Hart, one of the greatest role players of all time. Look, not everyone, there's only one ball to go around. On a team like the Knicks, when you had Cat and Jalen Brunson, most of the ball flows through those two guys, but it's guys like Josh Hart and OG Anunoby that help win a championship. It's the defense, it's the picks, on offense. It's all those things. Hey, Drew NFTV, cheers. Yeah, man, you too. You were on the stream the other night, man. Thank you for joining us again. I appreciate you. So yeah, let's give the Josh Hart some glass. That card's probably worth like not even $5, but we appreciate players like Josh Hart. And it's the first time we've pulled that insert, so it just shows how rare it actually really is. Darius Garland, Aaron Wiggins. Whoa. Moment in time. Paulie, look at this one. Jalen Brunson. Look at the light. It looks like lights coming down from the heavens. With his defender inches away, Jalen made a dash to the left, shook his obstacle, and hit a tray to clinch a ticket to the second round of the 2025 playoffs. So Paulie writes, the Fortune 15 insert set is a modern revival of a classic 1999 Topps release featured prominently in recent Topps Chrome releases. This stylish insert checklist highlights top-tier superstars and an awesome-looking Brunson. Yeah, absolutely. This whole moment in time thing is a new thing for them. I think it's cool. And yeah, if you're gonna pull one, yesterday I pulled 3 different rookie ones actually. Cooper Flag, I think Dylan Harper, and maybe Knuckle, but there's no one I rather have pulled for a moment than Jalen Brunson. So as predicted, the back half has been much, much better. Still no numbered cards or autos, so nothing big money, no patch autos, that sort of thing. But as far as like sentimental value and having fun, it's been much more rewarding. So that's awesome. By the way, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, Joel Embiid. Rock Chalk is a expression that people from the University of Kansas use. We continue to pull this card and this card back to back, but then you get something different. This is Peyton Pritchett with the red, white, and blue, and then that Shaq base. The red, white, and blue looks particularly awesome with the color scheme of Boston, even though he's wearing the alternative Boston jersey, which is just white and gold. All right, last pack of the 9th blaster. If we get to 1,000 people by the time we're done, we're gonna do some bonus rips. I got a couple of special things that we can do that I could save for another time, but if we get to 1,000 people, which will be an awesome milestone, we'll do it. Kawhi Leonard, Tobias Harris. Whoa, I love the anomalies. Back-to-back Tobias Harris. Base and red, white, and blue. That's pretty cool. And then Norman Powell. And check out those alternative Miami Heat uniforms. Those are sharp. All right, I can't believe it. Last blaster. Now, I'm a chatty Cathy. I tell stories, talk about all kinds of shit. You can probably rip this stuff much faster than 2 hours and 20 minutes. I also didn't start right on time. I let it run the first 10 minutes so people can kind of find out about the stream, join the stream, and all that stuff. So I started with 50 people, and now we're at 834. So God bless each and every one of you. I appreciate you. I really do. I know you can watch pack rips on different platforms. You can go watch people on Fanatics Live and whatnot. You can go on TikTok, and you can find lots of people doing it on YouTube. Maybe not live, but certainly recorded videos. But you're with me, and I appreciate that. You know, I really do. All right. Last blaster out of 10. These were all purchased at once today from Dick's Sporting Goods. So they all came from the same case. Definitely not true that there's an average of one numbered card per box. That's maybe true for the mega box, but not true for these blasters. So the back half's definitely been better, but still no autos, still no numbered cards, and we're still waiting for something really special, like a Helix special insert. So, basketball gods, sports card gods, activate. Let's do it. Alperin Sengun, Kelly Oubre Jr. It's the first time we've pulled him. Tobias Harris, and Jarrett Allen. Jaren Jackson Jr., Andrew Wiggins, Jalen Williams, Jeremiah Fears, rookie card, and the alternative Crescent City jersey. Victor Wembanyama, not as exciting when it's his second or third year card, but Wemby's definitely becoming one of the face of the league for sure. PJ Washington, Draymond Green with the Ray Wave, and then Jalen Johnson. All right, 4 packs to go. Draymond Green base, Derek Lively the second, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, let's just give him a moment. One of the best rebounders of all time. An amazing team player. Talk about unselfish guys. I mean, like he could play a game and not care if he shot the ball one time. But if he got 15 rebounds and a few blocks and a few steals, he was happy. One of the greatest defenders of all time. People forget he was part of the bad boys of Detroit with Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and that dynasty. And then he did it again, coming over with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and the Chicago Bulls. Outspoken, unique, one of a kind, Dennis Rodman, that's for sure. Also one of a kind is Magic Johnson. 6'9" point guard. What? All right. 3 packs to go. Cade Cunningham, Shaden Sharp. Ooh. You rip cards long enough, you're eventually going to see everything, I guess, right? Here's an Activators insert. First time for Cade Cunningham. This is the Activators insert. And then Damian Lillard. Yeah, maybe we'll do a recap at the end, and I'll show you all the inserts. Oh, I think I know what we're gonna do. If we got, I might take like a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll do. I'll get recharged, and we'll do some overtime. And I know what we're gonna do. We could stay in the basketball theme, but I have another idea. Bam Adebayo, Malik Monk, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then Dirk. Oh shit! This is it, people. 10 blasters. This is the last pack. Last pack magic. The boxes 6 through 10 were definitely much better, but we're still looking for the auto. We're still looking for one numbered card, not one, which is crazy because there's 40% less cards produced this time. I really would have thought we would have done much better. Like, I kind of felt like it should have been like Platinum Baseball, and I but whatever. It is what it is, man. Here we go. Last pack. Thanks for joining me for this whole rip session. I appreciate you guys. Zach Levine, Derek Quinn, rookie, Hugo Gonzalez, red, white, and blue, Ivica Zubac. Bust. All right. Well, I had said if we got over 1,000, we'd keep going, but we did actually increase to 891, so we'll definitely keep going. But I'm going to let you guys vote. We'll see how many people are actually around or sleeping, and we'll let people vote on what to do next. I'm going to show you the options. Okay, hold on. Number one. Okay, so we got 2025 Bowman basketball, which is a hybrid of NBA and college. And we got 2026 Topps Chrome Series 2 V-Friends. So we'll start a vote, type what you want, and the chat will decide what we're going to rip. We just passed 900 viewers. Thank you so much, guys. If you're first joining us, we did 10 blasters of Topps Chrome update, and we had a lot of fun, but we did not hit anything mega, which I guess is good news because something awesome could be, waiting for you next. And I guess the prices will rise because the more and more people who are ripping, who are not pulling the big hits are still out there. Yeah. All right. So Paulie, if it wasn't for Paulie, the chat would be just like, disengaged. But Paulie keeps the chat alive. So I'm grateful for you, Paulie. Yeah. The truth is, V-Friends does make me happy. Not that Bowman basketball doesn't. I love Bowman. It's a great product, and there's lots of big hits still in these. But V-Friends is something very different. And let me explain why and how V-Friends became big for me. So, TikTok is one of these things where, like, I was super late to TikTok. My kids were doing it for years. I had no interest in it. But when I started realizing I should probably start doing some social media stuff, I got on it. And, the algorithm has changed over the years. Gary Vee talks about how it used to be social media. So when you were on social media on Instagram 5 years ago, the algorithm would show you most of your friends and family who you followed. Now, when you scroll, you'll notice it's not your friends and family anymore. It's the things that interest you. So if you like sports cards, you start to see sports card videos because the algorithm is based on what Gary Vee calls interest media, right? So that's kind of a breakthrough thing. So you will discover things based on what the algorithm thinks that you will like. And I discovered Gary Vee. Now, I was shocked to find out that both my kids already knew who Gary Vee was a couple years ago when I first discovered him. But the more I started seeing his material, the more the algorithm gave me more Gary Vee stuff, and so I became very, very familiar with this, with all the different aspects of his, you know, social media platform. Basically, his different, his different, you got self help guru stuff, he's got entrepreneur stuff, he's got the sports card guy stuff, and then he's got V Friends. So I consumed all that material, and when I saw how he created V Friends, I think what he realized is this: he said that he knows his personality is not for everybody. He's loud. He's constantly dropping f bombs, right? But yet his message is noble and kind and beautiful, right? But his personality can become a block for people to get to the truth. So he realized he's got to find another way to get to all those other people out there who don't love him. And this is where V Friends comes into play, because V Friends is a universe of characters, and each one has a positive character trait. Even the villains, even the bad guys from the comic book series and the cartoons, even they have redeemable qualities. And so it's a brilliant product because, like, One Piece or, Pal World or even Pokemon, if you don't know the characters and know their history, are there any redeemable qualities that you're learning from these people? I mean, I guess if you watch the cartoons, there's some kind of hero's journey or whatever, and so there's that component. But for the most part, I'm not sure the people in the hobby even learn anything that betters them as people by following all these other TCG. But with V Friends, as you'll soon see, even when you pull these base cards and you get 4 busts, every card's got wisdom. So for someone like me, I got 2 kids, one out of college, one in college. I'll be a grandpa in 10, 15 years. And I know in 10, 15 years when my grandkids come over, for their sleepover, we'll be ripping V Friends and we'll be playing Pokemon. And we'll have fun playing Pokemon, but it's during the V Friends hang where I'll get a chance to instill knowledge and wisdom and all these positive character traits that are taught in this product, I'll teach to my kids and my grandkids. So I think that V Friends is really brilliant. Now, the fact that you can make money with this stuff is a whole other story. Now, I just ripped 10 boxes of Blaster, and we lost a lot of money, okay? Let's be honest, right? $45, $50 with tax, what, 10? It's $500 investment, if you want to call it investing, or $500 for entertainment. And maybe I recouped maybe 200, so not even half. It's fun. It's all good. It was entertainment. I shared it with you, whatever. But the point is, with V Friends, there's less supply because it's a new product. This is even less so with Series 1, but with Series 2. The one-of-one Black Cat Erupt. Now, Erupt is like their version of Kaboom. In fact, they had the same designer who designed the Kaboom card for Panini, designed the Erupt. And there's a one-of-one Erupt for every character, the 200. But the Black Cat is kind of like the flagship, most famous character. That's what everyone wanted to pull. And someone pulled it, and it got auctioned, and it sold for $132,000. So out of a $400 blaster, just like with the basketball, when you're chasing all these patch autos, there are cards in these products that are also worth insane amounts of money. I think you pull a $4 million Cooper Flag, that's life-changing for sure. I'm not sure a $100,000 card is life-changing, but it definitely is hobby-changing. And for probably most people, it really is life-changing. $100,000, For me, it definitely would be because, it would allow me to enjoy this hobby in a whole new way. But would it change my ability to pay my mortgage, or feed my kids? No. Ambitious Angel. My daughter, I always called her Angel Girl, and she's been very, very ambitious in her career. And so I've saved a couple cards to give to her next time I see her, because she is the ambitious angel. Shout out to you, Kayla. Love you. Here's the Accountable Ape. Yellow Refractor for the thoughtful 3-horned Harpnick. And the Curious Crane. Let's read the last one. Ask questions instead of assuming answers. Yeah, what do they say about assumptions? They make an ass of you and me. It's true. $956 people in the chat. That is amazing. This show definitely deserves a sponsorship. You know how hard it is to get 900 live people in one place. That's awesome. I'm really excited, you guys. A big credit goes to Paulie. Why? Because Paulie built the Collecting and Connecting Podcast Network, and this streams on my YouTube channel, but also his, but also Paulie's Collecting and Connecting Twitter account, and that's got, I forget, Paulie, how many you have. Was it 3,000, 10,000, 13,000? But it's dedicated people who love the hobby. So the ability to put my show on his network is the reason why I have 960 people. I can assure you it has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Macho Manta Ray, Dapper Dashhound, Macro Micro, Spiffy Salmon. Let's read it. Competitive advantage. Leads with flair, but never follows trends blindly. Yeah, if everyone's getting the vaccine, like, you don't have to do it just because everyone else is doing it. Think for yourself. Very valuable life lesson. Spontaneous seahorse. Focused falcon. Productive puffin with the chalk. And confident cobra. To the moon meerkat. Gleeful sugar glider. Headstrong honey badger in yellow. Sensitive centipede. Feels deeply and has a sharp emotional awareness to read the situation faster than most. I dig it. Trusting tarantula. Forgiving horned frog. We'll read that one. Intuitive iguana and glowing glowworm. Knows holding grudges only hurts them, not the person they're mad at. Brilliant. I wish I could put out a red alert saying, we're now ripping V-Friends packs instead of Topps Chrome Update. Tough to beat a worm from the dirt. Compassionate catfish. Self-aware hare. He's one of the cutest characters. Look at how cute that guy is. He's adorable. Turnt tick. Let's read self-aware hare. By knowing their weaknesses, they stop wasting energy and double down on what they're built for. Feel you. 2 to go on this blaster. Detail-oriented Dumbo octopus. Stoic slime. Dialed-in dog. Humble hedgehog. Let's read it. Finds comfort in understanding its place in the world. Adorable. All right, last pack from the blaster of Topps Chrome V-Friends Series 2. Lit Lamb. Notorious Ninja. Ooh. Wilford Wizard in yellow. Let's read that one. Capable of forging his own path in this world and others. Your poor relationship with time is your biggest vulnerability. Competitive advantage. A call out to the real enemy of progress. Impatience. All right. We are at 2 hours and 40 minutes, so we might as well break the record and get past 3 hours. We got 970 people. We're so close to 1,000. That's awesome. I'm grateful. Let's rip something else. Let me see what I got for you guys. Could do more V-Friends, but I think we should shake it up. All right. So we're gonna do a chase. So I'm not a big collector of WWE wrestling cards. Never have been. I did love wrestling as a kid though. Like Macho Man, Randy Savage, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, the Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter. I loved WWE wrestling. I watched all the shows, had all the characters, played with them, the whole thing. But it wasn't until Danhausen uncursed the Knicks that I started to watch a little WWE again because of him. I became fascinated with him. And I have a guest coming on my show in a couple of weeks, another fellow author who's really into wrestling. He wrote a wrestling book. So I bought a couple of blasters so I can rip wrestling with him. But I now know that for my show, I only need like one, because we rip like 4 or 5 or 6 packs per episode. So here's another one. So let's do something. Let's try to chase Danhausen in WWE Topps Chrome Wrestling. I'm looking at my giant Jenga stack. I do not have wrestling, so this will be eligible to go on to level 12. It's gonna collapse like next level for sure, but it's getting there. Hopefully I'll get it on video when it happens. All right. Yeah, number cards, autos, that's all good, but I'm looking for Danhausen. I've never pulled one of his cards. I think he's like the leading character in sales for merch now for WWE. He's become a huge star. There's Josh Briggs, Angelo Dawkins, Julia, and Era of Excellence, Randy Orton. All right, it's going to happen, guys. 990 people watching. We're going to break 1,000 as we approach 3-hour limit. Look at this outfit for Shawn Michaels, right? I mean, Nikita Lyons, LA Knight, and focus rail insert. Whew. Excuse me, for Zaria. Definitely getting tired, guys. But I will persevere for you guys. Get to 3 a.m. on the East Coast. To get to 1,000 live viewers. To get to 3 hours going live. Whoa, I see right there. Remember Big John Studd from growing up? It's Julia again. Eric Rowan. Cutler James. And then Big John Studd. You actually can see the Iron Sheik behind them. That's pretty fun. He wasn't one of my favorite characters. He's one of the bad guys, but he was a good actor. He was entertaining. He did a good job. If you love to hate them, then they're doing their job right. I've noticed that Logan Paul has become like a villain character that people love to hate. He's very polarizing, but I think he does a great job of it. I did watch the most recent SummerSlam, WrestleMania. I don't even know what it was. It was on Netflix, and he was. I thought he was terrific. I think he's great for the hobby, great for the sport. There's Tiffany Stratton. Whoa! We ripped all that Topps Chrome basketball, hoping for something insane, and then here we have Noam Dar. And that's on card at a 50. Just as we break 1,000 live viewers. That is sweet. Now, I'll be fair. I'm not even familiar with this character, so this card might not be worth very much. He might not be very popular. It's time we're talking about the Undertaker or whatever. But that is beautiful card at a 50. Yeah, last box love, because we're wrapping it up at 3-hour mark, and we just hit 1,000 people, and we finally pulled a beautiful card. I mean, that really is a banger. Let's get some glass. Well, I keep glass by, but always close by, but we've gone through so many. I gotta get some more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look this guy up on YouTube tonight when I go to sleep and watch some of his videos. You know, a lot of the wrestlers are like NPCs. They're not like they're designed to lose. They never win matches. For all I know, this guy Noam Dar is an NPC. He's like a filler guy. But that's still pretty cool. Kevin Owens and then Angelo Dawkins. All right, 3 packs to go. Yeah, it's crazy that we have 1,000 people tonight. I ripped the same exact product last night, and I think we had 33 people. So it must be a function of timing. Friday night, more people are home. Less people have to, go to bed early for work the next day. Because I'm the same, except my jersey and the cards were basically the same, but we had 10x the people. There's another Kevin Owens. There's Nikki Cross looking very scary. There's Kiana James looking pretty damn good, if I gotta say. And here's an era of excellence for Batista from the 2000s. Bust pack. All right, 2 to go. Nice rip, says Paulie. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't remember. When did WWE bring on the women? I gotta believe that's has had to help the hobby, right? I mean, Carly Bright. Here's Billy Gunn. Ooh, same pack. An anomaly. Carly White. Not back to back, but 2 in the same pack. And then Ricky Saints. All right, last pack. Yeah, so my record, we literally went to original V Friends rip went for 3 hours, guys, and we'll have to rip something else to break the record because this is the last pack. Here we go. But this blaster has been good. Pulling an auto out of 50 out of a blaster, that's really solid. I'm happy with that. But the goal was to chase Danhausen, and it hasn't happened yet. So Danhausen be in this last pack. Here we go. AJ Styles. I'm not sure how to pronounce this guy. Idris Inofi. AJ Lee. And Rusev. We did not pull our chase. So maybe next time. Let's do one more rip, and then we'll call it a night. Let's see what we should do. Oh, okay. Hold on. Here comes my dog. You go potty? Holy cow. This guy, the timing is everything. Hold on. You go potty outside? All right, guys. Thanks for your patience. Amazing how patient. There's a V Friends character called the Patient Pig, and you guys are a bunch of patient pigs. We got 1,052 people in the chat. You guys waited for me. I thank you very much. My dog needed to go out for a second time. Hey, he's got needs. What are you gonna do? He's a sweet boy. I'm glad that he comes and asks me instead of just having an accident in the house. So that gave me a chance to kind of recharge for a minute. I got energy. It's 3 in the morning on the East Coast, but it's the weekend. We got to break the record by 3 hours. Let's rip two more. We have not pulled the numbered card yet. That's got to happen. These were unsealed because at the behest of the Topps Corporation owned by Fanatics, in order to reduce scalpers, stores are being asked to take off the wrapper in front of you at the store. So at some stores, you're only allowed to get one. At the baseball card store, you can buy as many as you want, but only the first one comes sealed. The rest come unsealed. So I bought 4 of them today from there, and here's 2 of them. So let's give these a rip, and let's see how we do. I have mixed feelings about the unsealed policy. I was actually asked that question by Paulie himself during the roundtable we had at the NBA Top Shot Summer League. And at the time, I said that I was concerned about it because, on the one hand, I think it's a very noble thing to try. They're trying to remove the snipers, which is creating price inflation. They're trying to get more packs in the hands of the actual collectors in the hobby, and that's great. The problem has to do with logistics and operations management because someone yesterday mentioned they bought some packs, they came unsealed, and there were packs missing because some employees can get sticky fingers and take some packs out. That could happen at the Topps warehouse distribution level. It also could happen at the back of a Target warehouse locally. So that's uncool. Could you imagine spending $85 of your hard-earned money on a mega box of Topps Chrome basketball update? You're hoping to pull a Topps Chrome, a rookie patch auto, and then packs are missing. So then, who do you complain to? The store you bought it from, Target. Well, then they're going to have a problem with Fanatics for the distribution. So I'm not sure it's going to work. But I respect what they tried to do. I think it was very, very noble. But I think they probably won't do it again. But again, the reason why this is happening is because it's not just the sports card market, Pokemon too. The value of the cards have continued to increase to the point where it's like NASDAQ 1999, or even right now, the AI tech bubble. Stocks are going, they're going parabolic. The price of, PSA 10 Pikachus and whatever. And look at the price of, I've been posting on my own site, on my Twitter account, all the different charts of even a Ted Williams chart going straight up hockey stick. And so what goes up must come down. Nothing will go straight up forever. Now you could argue that some people will say that this is the debasement of the US dollar. The US dollar is losing purchasing power. And so when the dollar loses value, physical objects like gold and silver or crypto, or in this case, sports cards go up in value, that there may be some truth to that. It's an alternative asset class, non-correlated asset class. But, this particular product is so hot because it's the first time ever that Topps has gotten back the basketball license. It's the first time that they have done the rookie debut patch, and it happens to be a very, very strong rookie class. Guys like Cooper Flagg, he's like a phenom, right? So everyone wants this stuff. So I respect that Topps tried to find ways of, de-incentivizing the scalpers, and I think that they did that. But now that you have quality control, integrity issues, so I guess it's a tricky situation. Scoot Henderson, John Broom, Cameron Johnson, Peyton Pritchett. This is wild. At one point we had 15 people watching. Before the break, we had around 1,000 people watching. I was gone for 10 minutes, and then more people showed up. Now we have 2,467 people watching. So to all of you new people who just showed up, 1,000 of you, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. My name is Jonathan Fink. I'm an author. I've written a bunch of books like The Sports Card Collectors Club, Spirit of the Gridiron, The Republic Baseball League, The Baseball Gods Are Real. Ooh, there's Zach Eady. I featured Zach Eady in my first book, Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 1. I have an investment chapter about him. I went big on his auto cards, and I lost a lot of money. He got injured too often with sprained ankles that it hurt his investment thesis. Chris Middleton and Trey Young. A lot of people in the pandemic were chasing Trey Young, and I'm sure they lost a lot of money because he's been disappointing as far as his meeting expectations as a player, and therefore his cards became very overvalued and then got sold off for sure. Another player that was really hot during the pandemic that did not meet expectations was Zion Williamson, and he'll be on a new team this year, which is wild. One of many big name players that'll be on new teams this year. In fact, I think this year has the chance to be one of the most exciting NBA seasons in recent memory because there'll be tremendous parity and distribution of the top name talent. Plus, the Western Conference has been top heavy, way better than the Eastern Conference, and I think that's going to be also leveled out. Not just because the New York Knicks won the championship from the East side, but also because of the improvement in a lot of those teams as well. It's Anthony Edwards, Dylan Brooks. First time we've seen legend Kevin Garnett in the Ray Wave, and then Duncan Robinson. This is the 11th blaster tonight in this session. We're still looking for our first auto. Still looking for our first numbered card. We did pull an auto in our one and only WWE blaster box, but nothing from basketball yet. All right, this is a win, right? We got a Clutch City Cooper Flag rookie card. I've pulled a Cooper Flag red, white, and blue. We pulled yesterday or today. Yeah, yesterday we pulled a Cooper Flag moment in time. And this red, white, and blue Cooper Flag is probably Paulie's favorite. We've also pulled 3 Dylan Harper rookies. But yeah, this is a cool insert. Clutch City Cooper Flag. We'll put that in glass. My guess is, best guess, $10, $15, nothing special. So I'm not going to cover the cost of the box or anything like that, but it's something. It's cool. Frankly, Cooper Flag is the kind of player who I probably should PC. I feature him in Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 2. It's actually about how there's always every year, every sport, there's always a hot new chase. It never ends. It's the cycle perpetually goes round and around. There's always a hot new player. And last year it was him, and it still continues to be him. But remember, the year before that, it was Wemby. Wemby was all the rage. So, and Wemby still is. But the point is, there's always someone new who's like the next player that everyone has to own. I mean, believe me, it didn't start with Ken Griffey Jr. in '89 Upper Deck. There's always been players that people have been, fanatic about. C.J. McCollum, Jace Richardson. Okay, so this is the same insert that we pulled with the Paul Pierce, but this is a better one because it's a rookie with Derek Queen. This is the Go Time. That is a good-looking card. Yeah? It's rare, hard to pull. Nice design. I think we'll put it in glass. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, 2,713 people now watching. Thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate it. You must love ripping wax as much as I do. You must love the NBA as much as I do. I love lots of different sports. Basketball has probably been actually my least favorite throughout my life because I'm really short, and it was, out of all the sports, I was probably the worst at basketball, and I was much better at other sports, so I spent more time in those sports. But I've always loved basketball, and during the pandemic, I wrote a draft for the Basketball Gods Are Real, part of that God Is Real series, and just a couple of weeks ago when I finished the book, The Pokemon Gods Are Real, which is going to drop on September 16th, I started working on the Basketball Gods of Real, kind of reviving the manuscript from 5 years ago, and then adding in all this new material that I've accumulated over the years, like the Danhausen Curse, which was epic. And then we have a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 2 packs to go from this blaster. Still looking for our first numbered card. It's been 11 blasters. That's crazy. I know you're watching me right now, watching me pull nothing, but I've watched so many other YouTubers the last couple of days. I particularly like to watch YouTubers when I'm on my daily walk, by the way. And I've seen some guys get a lot of busts, but I've also seen some really good hits too. In fact, I met a guy at the store today who convinced me to not buy the 2 megas and go all 10 with blasters, and he pulled a Wemby card. I forget what it was numbered out of. He says it's worth $30,000. He already sent it to PSA overnight. I'm like, PSA is still taking orders? I thought PSA stopped taking orders. He goes, no. You can if you pay enough money. He paid $140 to get this card graded. And I forget if he thought the card was worth $30,000 raw, or if he gem intended it. I think he meant it was raw. So again, hold on. So even though I've had a lot of busts tonight, I still do have some more to go. I bought 4. We'll open 2 right now, and I'll probably buy more, until they run out. I'll probably buy a couple more tomorrow, I'm guessing, because this is your last chance to really chase a mega opportunity like this. It's very rare that there are $1 million cards potentially coming out of $45 blasters, and so I figured this is my last hurrah of big spending on modern stuff. I mentioned I'm going to buy a high box of flagship football, and I'm going to include that in my Card Life Volume 3 storyline. Then after that, I'm just going to enjoy ripping all the stuff that I've accumulated over the years. That will take me some time, and I'll be avoiding buying the new stuff for the short term. So yes, this is my last big, insane, degenerate purchase for now. So my wife should hopefully be happy for that if I can commit to that. I will try. There's Zion James, Fred Van Vliet, and Trey Murphy with a bust pack. Yeah, I mean, I got stacks of the bust cards, and they'll all wind up in a shoebox. Some will wind up in a bin for dollar cards. The inserts will be in a dollar bin at my trade shows. And then cards like this base Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'm going to give them away to kids at trade shows for free. And then whatever I don't give away to kids for free, I'll include them in my envelopes when I do my Flip Life eBay purchases, and I always include a couple of free cards. A, to protect the cards that's in the mailer, but also to give away a couple of just good vibe free things. And so I'll give away, usually I give away 4 or 5 cards per envelope. So that's how I'll use this stuff. And then if there's anything left over after that, then I'll take it to the baseball card store and I'll trade a shoebox of cards in for whatever I can get for it. $5, $10, $15, $20. It depends on the distribution of how much the shoebox is filled with paper cards versus Chrome cards, and then also versus Pokemon cards, because Pokemon base cards are smaller and are worth even less than a paper-based card. Hugo Gonzalez. There's Rudy Gobert, red, white, and blue. We've pulled the Trey Johnson, the 3rd rookie card, probably 5 or 6 times now. We've got a lot of him. Enough that I can say I probably have a PC of him already. All right, where'd that next blaster go? Here it is. All right. This will be the 12th blaster of this rip session, and we've now broken records on many levels. First, this is now the longest live rip session we've ever done. We went 2 hours last night with Topps Chrome. What the record was, we did a 3-hour rip session from midnight to 3 a.m. last week with V-Friends. V-Friends made a quick appearance tonight's session. We did 1 box of V-Friends, and we did 1 box of WWE tonight. But otherwise, we've been ripping all Topps Chrome basketball, and then so anyway, so this is the longest we've ever gone, which is 3 hours plus, and the most people. We now have 2,791 people, and that's now the most for any live stream, except for the fact that my very first interview for my flagship podcast with Brandon Verla from the Card Life, I'm pretty sure that had over 3,000 live viewers, but we're about to break 3,000, so this could be a record now for longest rip session live, for most people watching, and hopefully for the most valuable card I've ever pulled, because we still have not pulled a numbered card. Well, that's not fair. We did pull a numbered card tonight from that WWE box. We pulled an auto out of 50 of Noam Dar, but don't know much about his game. But yeah, so anyway, let's do this next pack and see how we do. Let's rip. Yeah, it's kind of wild how hard it is, how difficult it is to get monetized on YouTube. You need 500 viewers. I think I have 75. So please like and subscribe tonight. We have 3,000 people. Please, let's fill it up. I'd love to get to 500 so I can start monetizing. And then after you get 500 viewers, subscribers, you need to have, I think, 4,000 hours of viewed material. So of course, you do a 3-hour video like this, and if 3,000 people are watching, I guess you can get to 4,000 hours pretty quickly if they watch the whole thing. But I thank you for the support. I thank you for watching. It'll be really cool when my YouTube channel can be monetized and I could basically fund this hobby. It's been very expensive, My wife's been a really good sport, allowing me to enjoy this hobby. The truth is, like, my son played travel baseball his whole life, and that became so expensive, especially towards the end when he was playing for the Dodgers scout team. Like, literally, like $10,000 a year between travel costs and coaches and uniforms and all that stuff. So now he's out of that, but now he's in college, so now we're paying for that. It's always something. But the truth is, like, as far as hobbies, I really don't spend money on anything. And I've only been into cards now for big time for the last 5 years since the pandemic. And it's a business expense, and it makes me so happy. So it's hard for her to give you a hard time, because I do really love it so much. And the truth is, like, when you have an empty nest, your kids are gone, you need to have things to fill your void, and it can't just be sitting around watching TV. So for me, it's writing books, but it's cool now that I get to write books about sports cards, because I've always loved sports cards. But I admit that being an author about this hobby helps me kind of justify the amount of time and money that I spend doing it. It's another Wemby base. PJ Washington, DeAndre Hunter, and Khalil Ware. Draymond Green, Derek Lively. We finally did it, chat. We finally did it. Caleb Love at a 299. So probably not it's probably like the highest numbered card they have. Not a player I'm even familiar with. But as far as aesthetics go, is that teal? It's a beautiful colored card. So yeah, so that's cool. So that's awesome. Caleb Love, we finally pulled the numbered card. Only took 12 blaster boxes. That's wild how difficult that was. And then Pal Bachero. But better late than never. And it shows the power of being optimistic. I'm sure if I had said I'll never hit anything, I never would. But I stayed hopeful, I stayed optimistic, and we got to win. That's cool. So now we've broken the seal, so now we can go on a sick run. This is how rallies begin. Let's do it. What's coming next, guys? Cade Cunningham, Shaden Sharp. Ooh, another insert. Jeremiah Fears with the new addition. Seth Zerf? No, that's right. And then Rob Dillingham. All right, 3 packs to go. Ooh, we pulled this yesterday. Con Knipple, Clutch Gene. Very nice. And then Donovan Mitchell. So yeah, so even if we don't hit any mega cards tonight, still was worthwhile. Still created 3 hours of content, helped be part of the community, build the community. I love doing cool card alerts on my Twitter account, and a lot of these inserts will qualify for cool card alerts. So it was very worthwhile, very productive. But from a financial investment standpoint, huge loss so far, but we're not done yet. But yeah, it's a lot of those boxes were like total busts, like $50 down the drain. I say 50 because the MSRP was 45, but then with tax, it's basically $50. Zach Levine, Derek Queen rookie, Joan Behringer, red, white, and blue rookie, Lonzo Ball. Not a fan of those alternative jerseys, by the way. The shirts nor the shorts. All right, last one. DeAndre Hunter. Clifford. Bill Russell, the red, white, and blue. And then we finally pulled a cat. Carl Anthony Towns, who is a big-time collector. So he's been really good for the hobby. So let's go Knicks. Finally won their first championship in 53 years. And this guy definitely understands the basketball gods. Twice after major comebacks, he was interviewed on the court. He referenced his late mother who passed away, who he believed was helping her from beyond the veil to help win those games, which I think is very sweet. And, you know, I love that stuff. So that's awesome. All right, guys. So this was a absolute success. Not in terms of the hits, because we didn't pull any rookie patch autos. In fact, we only pulled one numbered card in 12 blasters, but we did pull some Con Knipple. We did pull some Derek Harper. We did pull some Cooper Flag. We did pull some Zach Edey, my guy, and Luca. So it wasn't all that bad. I'm guessing we will find out one day. I'm guessing maybe we recouped 25, 30% tops of this. You know, so it's a financial loss, but a huge win from so many other perspectives. And so I would love to keep ripping all night long, but we've got to save something for the next episode. But with 2,822 people watching, thank you guys so much. God bless you all. It's a record for most people live on my chat. And you know what? Real quick, hold on, watch this. Like when bands do concerts, they'll do like a giant selfie with the crowd. So I can't do that, but I am going to do this. I'm going to take a shot here to see that. We broke a record tonight. So 3 hours and 17 minutes and 2,823 people. Guys, I can't thank you enough. Thanks for supporting all my videos, my different shows, my podcasts, for supporting my books. If you haven't found my books, you can find them on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, even Target.com, even I think Walmart. You can find them. They're everywhere. But thanks for supporting my books, especially the new one, which is in the top 20 on Amazon, the Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 1. And then September 16th, I got Pokemon Gods of Real coming out in sync with the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. And then on December 1st, I have Volume 2, the Flip Life, coming out from the Sports Card Collectors Club series, Volume 2. So yeah, so guys, you're awesome. Thank you for your support. We'll do this again real soon. I'll be creating some more content tomorrow. I'm going to a trade show at Lee Summit. I'll be doing some live stuff on TikTok on the floor and creating some videos and handing out some books and hopefully buying some cards. And if and when I do, I'll share it with you guys then. So in the meantime, you guys take care. God bless.
He pulled a stain from a shoebox lid. Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites. Old paper, new spark, name on the card. From basement deals to a full-on star. Collect